Welcome, YouTube. Hope you guys are doing well. If you're just clicking the stream right now, I'm going to set it up. Skip forward in time to hear me talk about the winter storm. If you're watching the stream afterwards. It's kind of like this awkward moment where I need to hop on and get all this stuff ready. Like I have to go onto the stream and share it on the platforms. Okay, hold up. I don't want to reel. I want to story. Okay. Just making a post about Waffle House. It's pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. That's live now. And lastly, Facebook, just sharing the links so people can hop on the stream. Okay, cool. Should be good. I'm just tabbing this. Oh, well, I think it's okay. And we're good there. Okay, so we're green light across there. I'm just doing green light on my end. Green light. Okay, green light there. How's it going, Ethan Beagle? Congratulations on being the first viewer. That was quick. Yeah, I'll be getting into the swing of things here. Just 1 second. Just activating the TikTok stream, and then we'll hop right into it. Storm is here. Oh, yeah. Well, I think it's fine. Okay. There we go. We're going live. Just an absolute crazy storm is about to unfold here. I guess this is a little bit too much on the screen, but I think it looks all right. I think it's not too crazy. Are you ready for the snow? See, I wish I was in State College right now. I'm actually studying abroad, so I'm ready for photos of the snow. But unfortunately, I won't be able to appreciate the snow myself. What's up, Maddie? How's it going? Congratulations on being the first chatter in TikTok. We are starting the stream here with just a crazy storm that's beginning. I mean, it's really starting to fill in now. I think I'm going to turn off the warnings. They're a little too much to see, so we're just going to toggle this all off, and there we go. Here's a current live radar. What's going on? Yes, Maddie, I think Long Island's still in that 8 to 12 range for snowfall, and then possibly switch over to sleet once we move into that direction. So definitely a chance as well. So here to answer your guys' questions, also here to give a breakdown of analysis. You can really start to see the extent of the storm. Notice how our snow shield, it was looking pretty lackluster for a while here, but now it's starting to fill in across the entire way. Just look at the last 1 hour of radar scans. It's really, really started to fill in. All right, just gonna fix my mic here. There we go. So this is it, guys. We are here. We have over 100,000 people, unfortunately, without power right now. It is rapidly rising. You take a look at our latest scanner, and you can see main states underneath power outages right now. It's Texas, followed by Louisiana, both around 50,000 people without power, and then kind of correlation between all the other ones. See if we can get a refresh on the precipitation portals here. Looks like they're refreshing right now. Okay. Long Island, is it still? Yeah, okay. When will it start? Tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, early morning. So any commuting tomorrow will be basically very hard to possibly impossible. Sorry, just getting this loaded up. Okay. Welcome in, everyone. I see we're getting everyone now. Looks like the algorithm's starting to work out here. So welcome to the stream, here to answer you guys' questions, giving you live updates. We're going to be looking at cameras from across the country. I have cameras ready to go, traffic cameras, as well as I need your help. Notice beneath me here is a QR code. That is a straight link to be able to submit photos, videos straight to rainy day weather. It's a new thing I've just started. So actually the actual link goes to a link tree in which you can see a bunch of things, but go to submit your photos. So if you're in a cool area right now, let's say you're like in Memphis, or you're seeing ice in Nashville, or you're seeing snow in Nashville, Knoxville. If you want to join and be featured on the stream, there is an entire Google Forms over there. How much snow in Pennsylvania? Yes, a lot of snow is coming for Pennsylvania. See if I can give a refresh on the precipitation portal. I don't know why it's not refreshing here. Anyways, maybe if I can get a refresh on the DESI. Welcome to the stream, everyone. If you're having a good day or you're excited for the storm. Okay, so I already knew this was coming. Someone said this is a bust. You know, that's really funny for you to say, especially when all of the short-term models have been hinting at or have been saying this was going to happen. So the person who just said this is a bust, I'll show you the radar from here. Look how this is filling in. You see the area I've just highlighted is rapidly filling in with snow. That is because this first zone of snow was basically kind of unfazed. What this means is there's two pieces of energy that we're talking about here. There's kind of there's a upper level low kind of over here, and then there's a secondary upper level low over here. These are areas where this can produce a lot of lift. So what this means is it's going to take all this air and start lifting it up, which, if you don't know, that starts condensing it, and that causes precipitation. Now, originally, this first one is a little bit ahead of it, but right now they are now combining. That's what's called phasing. So what they're doing, instead of being one, they're going to be one giant lifting machine, which is going to produce a surface low pressure. So instead of a upper level low pressure, surface low pressure is going to start to form around in this region. This is going to massively be amplified just in the next few hours. That's why in all around this surface low pressure, all the air will start to at least generally rise. Synoptically, it's going to be basically kicked up. And if you haven't been noticing, which you probably don't, in the upper levels, we have a conveyor belt, a moisture conveyor belt. All day today, we've had a ton of moisture march its way up into the north. Now it's in place. That was well modeled as well. The last thing we need is the phasing to occur, and the big marker on how is this phasing happening is seeing what's called the snow shield on the northern end starting to fill in. And if you take a look, this was like a handful of hours ago. You see how we have lots of pockets where there's not much snow. We go into here, especially on the kind of backside of the snow shield, it's really starting to fill in, and we're expecting things to really start to pick up overnight tonight. So welcome to the stream, everyone. Here to answer your guys' questions, a little bit of a breakdown of what's coming on. This is not a bust. The actual main system has not even fully formed yet. So get ready. All right, guys, how much snow is coming into Allentown, Pennsylvania? That's an area that I'm keeping an eye on for a sleet changeover. The main reason, I think you're going to get a solid amount of snow for a core amount of time. I think, let's see, like 7 to 10 inches of snow, I think is pretty reasonable for you. And then what's going to happen is I think you're change over to some sleeting here. I'm not sure why we're not getting that, but I think we're going to have to stay on here. Okay. What time zone is that app following? This one, it's following my time zone, I think. So it kind of, wait, can you even see that? I don't know what app that was referencing. But yes, this is really starting to take shape here. How long do you think power is going to be out in Richmond, Virginia? Well, that's an area which could see some icing. We can switch over to, let's go to the NBM. Let's just have this on the ready here so I can switch over quickly. So here is your latest best guess of snowfall, because I'm sure there's a lot of people who are running this. So if you're just joining, you're wondering, well, okay, what's the snowfall? What's the latest? Not much change has happened. I think the biggest, most impactful change is right in a little bit more further south here. Right in this corridor here is going to have snow initially and then change over to sleet or freezing rain by the end of the event, which might be a little confusing here. What's happening? Well, what is happening during the event is the surface low pressure is pulling up some pretty warm air at the surface and just aloft at first. So you got cold air trapped at the surface because cold air is harder to push out due to friction at the surface. But warm air is going to move in. It's what's called a warm nose. Sounds pretty complicated, but basically it looks like a nose on our graphs, our fancy little graphs meteorologists like to use. So that's why it's called a warm nose. The warm nose intrudes in the atmosphere above your head and starts to make your precipitation either mix or freezing rain. So that's why a kind of new zone to watch for freezing rain has been added to the area I've just highlighted. Of course, that will eat away at snow totals just generally if that does happen. Anywhere north of there, pretty certain that we're going to stay snow during the entire event. That exact zone could trend a little bit south, could trend a little bit north. It's not a given science, but warm noses are notoriously hard to predict for our weather models because you have to do three-dimensional analysis, and sometimes you don't know if you have enough warm air or not enough warm air. It's really complicated. So keep that in mind. You're at least going to get a 6-inch range in like the DMV, the South, the Philadelphia region, New York region. That changeover is expected to happen. It says 0.5 inches of wintry mix in Maryland. I don't think so. It's going to be a lot more snow than that. Then a changeover to either mix or freezing rain. All right, guys. So, yeah, there's kind of like the best guess snowfall totals and then also ice accumulation totals. Really, things are just going to start picking up here. Light gray means very, very small amount of snow. All right, guys. Put your questions down in chat. Also, if you're excited for the live stream, if you wouldn't mind liking the stream. I start off the stream with a bang. That just helps me battle the TikTok algorithm. Appreciate you guys being here. And here, answer your guys' questions. Okay, sorry, just looking at something real quick. Can you show Parkersville, West Virginia? West Virginia has been really uptrending in an icing threat. It's going to start as snow tomorrow for most of your day, and then by the end of the day tomorrow, that's when you can see a change over to ice. So be weather aware. If you think you can drive through the snow, which might be a little bit easier, obviously, if it switches over to ice, then you're going to have some major issues come through the region. And just to show a bunch of new people who are coming in the chat, the live radar right now, switching over to that, you can see a pretty major event happening here. Right here. Look at that. We have snow stretching all the way from New Mexico into Virginia and Maryland right now. Actually, we just got a lightning strike. This is pretty crazy. I don't know if this is verified. Is anyone in Charleston by chance? Anyone in Charleston over here? Just had a lightning strike reported. And that's actually very possible. I'm expecting some thunder snow, some thunder ice, and some thunder sleet. Someone said me, Charleston. That was, Charlotte. I don't think that was, Charleston, West Virginia. Are you in Charleston, West Virginia? Do you hear thunder at all? I'm just curious. As we watch this entire system develop, I mean, quite the intense system with our surface low pressure, probably going to develop right around this corridor, maybe a little bit more further east or west, I guess, right here. So surface low is going to start forming. Again, this is just the warm-up, guys. Like, you might look at this and be like, wow, this winter storm is really underperforming. I mean, look at the future radar here. It is just getting started. Okay, let me put that on. I just want to show you why I think this and why I know this, why it's just getting started. Take a look at the latest RRFS. So here's how it got solved out first. Right there. Okay, so this is what we're seeing right now. Some messy precipitation, a little bit of a precip shield forming here, and then you got some moisture just surging to the south. Really look over here. Look at all this moisture surging to the south. It's really setting the scene. Now putting it in motion. This is how we're expecting to develop. Look, now we're talking about 12 hours from now. So this is Sunday. I guess this is tonight at around 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Look at that. We've now formed a major precipitation shield on the north side, and then south of that we're talking about major icing shield coming through this region, and that's basically going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. And a thing I've noticed from the latest RRFS is look at these snowfall rates in Pittsburgh. This is tomorrow afternoon in Pittsburgh. Right there, these areas could see plus 1 to 2 inch snowfall rates per hour. Very, very high snowfall rates. It's very hard to plow roads in here. You should be on the roads anyways. You do have winter storm warnings, but just keep that in mind. As we keep pushing further and further, this heavy snow is going to keep pounding in the same sort of region over and over again. Oh, I really wanted to keep that. Okay, well, there we go. Okay, now I'm going to answer some more questions. So I'm just doing some overviews so we can get just broad information out there for you guys. Is Dallas clear then? No, Dallas is going to see a lot more ice. You can see Dallas has been pretty much in a dry slot right now, but by tonight into tomorrow morning, look at that. This is tomorrow morning. You got a lot of ice. Basically, the bulk of your ice is going to form, and then on the backside, some very cold air. Also, you already have 50,000 people without power. That's 50,000 customers without power in Texas. So it's just actually the beginning of the icing event. The core icing event is going to be overnight tonight. My gas shut off, and it won't turn on even after we paid. Oh gosh, is that from like a infrastructure problem, or I don't know. All right, let me answer some questions here, guys. West Central Ohio, pretty confident on a good amount of snow there. I put you between, I mean, look at that. Hold up, I just want to point this out. I mean, you don't see this kind of color on the future reflectivity here. You guys see that? That is a 4-inch, I guess I can't do the crayon at the same time, but that's 4 inches per hour projected by the RRFS. That's insane. So Western Ohio, I'm putting you between 10 and 15 inches of snow. You're pretty safe from a changeover in precipitation. Someone has to go out and physically turn on the gas. Oh no, they won't do it for the ice. That's a shame. That is a shame. Okay, I don't know why I'm in my. Oh yeah, okay, there we go. Can you do Oklahoma? Yes. So Oklahoma, I know your event has been like, well, like we were supposed to get so much snow. Well, really, the bulk of the snow becoming, at least like right now, it's starting to really fall in your region, and it's going to start falling even more. You can see pushing it further and further. Snow shield is going to further develop, and then by kind of midnight tonight, really precipitation takes off. Southeast Oklahoma still could see some ice. And then Oklahoma City, right in that area between ice, sleet, and snow. We'll see what reaches the surface. Then very heavy snow for your tomorrow early morning. That's going to linger all the way into your afternoon tomorrow. Expecting another 5 to 8 inches of snow in Oklahoma City and kind of around the state, depending on where you are exactly. What do you see? Martinsburg, West Virginia. So West Virginia is going to start off as snow. Kind of look at your future radar here. You can see right there tomorrow morning snow, but then you can see that icing line really start to creep up here. Warm air just above your head starts to mix your precipitation, makes it maybe rain into the surface. That would not be good. You start seeing some ice accumulation on top of the snow. That's what that's going to do. Is going to start melting some snow. It's also going to vastly increase the chances of losing power in that region, also making travel impossible. You cannot travel in freezing rain, guys, in ice. It's just impossible. You can't clear roads. You can't treat roads. In Perry, Georgia, specifically that region. I don't know how far north you are. You can put your state and city, guys. You can try to help you out. I'd be prepared for some icing in Perry, Georgia, depending how far north you are. I can't see you on my map, but if you're in North Georgia, places like Atlanta, your icing events is going to keep accumulating over night to night. And actually, there's cold air. It's beginning to seep more and further south. That's going to start placing that icing risk right there. Very interesting dynamic with the storm, and look at that. This is the monster that's coming. So everyone who's been saying this is a flop, we've actually been waiting for the storm to phase, and it's beginning to do that pretty obviously on the future radar here and the current radar. If you guys are enjoying the live update, follow for more updates, guys. We're getting really close to 70,000 followers, so come join the Rainy Day Weather family. Also increases your odds of getting your comment answered. So heading over into the NBM here for snowfall. Actually, we can just do our RFSS. It looks pretty solid. This might be a little bit of an underestimate, a little caveat to this because it's using 10 to 1. So kind of multiply these totals by 1.5 over here. So keep that in mind. This is 10 to 1. Our current ratio we're thinking is between 1 to 15 and like 1 to 19. So for St. Louis, Missouri, I expect between 8 and 12 inches of snow additional of what's already fallen there. Chicago, Illinois, clear of weather or just cold. A little bit of snow from this event, just a tiny bit, but mostly just cold. I mean, like a 2.3 inches there. Zoom out there. Okay. Okay, so a little call out. You might notice something new on my stream beneath me, not the without power. Beneath me is a QR code. If you live in an area in which you're getting precipitation, like freezing rain, snowfall, or like an interesting area, and you have a photo or video you want to be featured on Rainy Day Weather, scan that QR code. You can take a screenshot of the stream and use and scan it that way, or you can scan it traditionally. I'm keeping an eye on it. Actually, we already have our first response, so let me take a quick view of that I will view it on my own just quickly. And this looks like we have our first. Oh, so this is working out. Already someone with a response. This is Nadia Zanat. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Let me see. Okay, I'm just checking it first, of course. Okay, well, that's a lot of snow there. Okay, so we're bringing it back. And then this is from Buffalo, New York. So actually the snow hasn't started here. It's actually just a kind of a pretext. The roads are pretty covered here in Buffalo, New York. So that's pretty interesting. Thank you for the report. If you want to be featured as well, hit that, or you scan that QR code beneath, and I'll keep a very close eye on those forums. We're going to be continuing to look at that. Here is the latest power outage report. I guess we're a little far out of frame. There we go. So there's the latest power outage report. Both Texas and Louisiana is without 50,000 customers apiece. Okay, is a changeover expected in New Jersey? Let me head over back to our droid. In North Jersey. So North Jersey, the further north you are, the more favorable you are to stay away from the transition. I'd expect between 8 and 12 inches there of snow. I don't think you're going to see freezing rain. I think you could change over to sleet for like the last 2 hours of the event. Got a question for Philly. Philly is an area I think is really going to transition, sitting between 6 and 10 inches of snow, and then a transition either into sleet or freezing rain at the surface. So very troubling travel conditions out there. Unfortunately, is going to make your snow into a glacier. And remember, behind all this, guys, is very, very cold temperatures for your system here. Let me switch over to our precipitation outlook. Perfect. Okay. Western North Carolina is just going to keep seeing more and more ice. Unfortunately, you are in an icing zone. In Asheville, you might be saved by the possibility of warm air intrusion on the higher levels because you might be a little bit higher right now. The latest modeling really wants to give you some ice accumulating. A question for Northern Louisiana, just a catastrophic icing event. We're going to see a lot of ice continuing to fall in the region on top of what's already fallen. The core amount of ice is just going to be continuing to fall Sunday, tomorrow, into your afternoon, and eventually finally stop icing by tomorrow late afternoon. DC going to get between 6 and 10 inches of snow and then transition over into sleet and then transition over into ice. Just a smorgasbord of precipitation there. Driver, it's just been reversed. So I've learned I can't say it, so I'm not even going. I've been looking at it. You can tell chat what I'm talking about, but yeah, I can't say it because I've been looking at it. Thank you for that. Butler County, yes, hometown county. Oh no, I said it and it literally just banned me. It just banned me. Well, thank you, driver, for that. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I just don't get it. I don't know why. Sorry, guys. The thing I'm complaining about is TikTok has been banning me from gifting for like no reason, and then I appeal it. It gets approved, and then 10 seconds after it gets approved, it gets rebanned. So I'm dealing with some pretty big issues on that front. I do apologize. Unfortunately, TikTok doesn't really have support for that, so it's kind of just a wait and see and try to not say. It's like the big thing is like you might get like auto banned from even like saying the word gifting or like stuff, so that's why I've been avoiding it. The weather media is working against me. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I'm not really here for the gifts. I'm here to inform you guys about the weather. Okay. So I would have been doing this anyway, so I'm just happy to share the insight here. Student meteorologist, let me get back into my questions instead of being on my soapbox, which I sometimes tend to do. We need like a word for like, you guys need to say like, okay, like Ethan, you need to stop talking about this random thing and talk about weather again. If anyone has any ideas. Okay, back to central Ohio. I mean, a lot of snow is going to fall. I'm expecting between 10 and 15 inches of snow. You're pretty safe from that transition line that we're currently watching here between that icing and snowing event. Squirrel? Okay, if someone says squirrel, I should stop yapping. Okay. Hello from Oklahoma. How's it going, Oklahoma? What does your weather look like? If you have any videos or photos beneath me, submit them for a chance to be featured on a Rainy Day Weather Live with credit to you. The QR code, just scan it, and is just a Google form. Completely free. I don't know who would charge for that, but it's just something cool so for you guys to interact with the stream and submit your photos. Kind of as a cool community thing so we can build and like share with each other what we're seeing across the area. Would you guys like to see some live cameras across, I believe I have Oklahoma right now. Would you like to see some live cameras? See if I get some questions. And then I'll answer questions as we look. I need a second phone. So you don't really need a second phone to scan the QR code. If you take a screenshot and then 3D hold on your phone, or you go to your camera, so you screenshot the stream, you use your camera, then you can get into the QR code, the setup there. Okay, so guys, this is what we're dealing with across the area of Oklahoma. You take a quick look. So actually, the ramp does not look clear here. It seems like there's a decent amount of people on the roads, which we're expecting the precipitation just only start to increase over the afternoon into the evening hours. What in the world is that cursed camera? I don't really know what's going on there. Ignore that one, I guess. Earlier in North Carolina, I did post this. It was I-75, I think, was blocked by a pretty bad accident, like both lanes. What app is this? You can find the app in my profile link. If you go to my profile, hit the link tree, or if you actually scan the QR code, it has the app link. So there you go. There's Oklahoma. Looks like the roads are pretty good right now. I mean, I say pretty good, but there's like one lane clear, so better than I would think. Still a lot more snow coming, between 5 and 8 more inches on top of what's already fallen here in Oklahoma City. On the front edge here, as you can see, the future radar, a lot of people are going to see some additional snow. Lots in Oklahoma, an area we're going to continue to watch for more additional snow. Things are going to really start picking up overnight and into your earlier tomorrow morning. Some very high snowfall rates, especially on the back end of the storm as well. Loading up on my caffeine right now so we can go for a marathon stream here. Appreciate you guys being here. Okay. I got a question for Southern Indiana. You're right on that border between, what are we going to get? Very heavy snowfall, or are we going to start mixing a little bit? If you're in like places of Louisville, it's going to be really close between all snow and all mix. The difference between being in the mixing and icing versus being in the snow, we're talking about 50 miles. 50 miles between like a foot of snow, even more than a foot of snow, and 50 miles to the south, like a quarter inch of ice plus. So that's kind of the full precipitation. That's why it's so hard to predict where exactly that's going to fall. And even our models struggle even very short term. So that's why I need your guys' help. Let me know what precipitation you guys are seeing. Let me see if I can do a quick poll here. Is anyone in the main zone? I guess here's the live radar. So also thunder snow just reported in Illinois. Right there. It's popping up there. Okay. So we have that. But if you really take note of how we are starting to really outstretch our precipitation field, and notice how it's starting to fill in with more precipitation. This is only expected to increase just in the next few hours as our system begins to phase. It begins to strengthen. We got a report from Lubbock, Texas. It's sleeting right now. Yep, can see that on the radar, pretty close to that all snow line. Can you East Coast? Yeah, I mean, working up the East Coast, like interior north, or up the I-95 corridor, places like New York, Boston, those could see some major snowfall events. New York, I think, might change over to ice or sleet later on into the event. You're going to get like 6 to 10 inches of snow and then possibly drop into sleet or freezing rain. North Carolina, how many incidents? I don't exactly what you mean by incidents, but you're going to get a lot of ice additional. I mean, we haven't really got much precipitation yet, but it's just starting off, so your event is just beginning. It's only going to start to continue. St. Louis, 8 to 12 inches of snow. Please look. I submitted Vortex Humor. Oh gosh, I'm afraid. Okay, so should we look at the submissions? Okay, we just got another submission. Again, I will be pre-checking these, so don't. Okay, okay. I'm just gonna show you I'm not gonna play this because I'm not allowing this. I just want to show you the thumbnail. Oh wait, no, it might not pop up. Okay, I'm sorry, but if it's not weather related, like if I can see it's not weather related, I'm not playing it. So that's just for my safety on the stream. So again, if you want to be featured, scan the QR code down below. But I'm not playing whatever I just saw on the stream. Okay, I'm not trying to get banned. Butler County, North Pittsburgh, totals please. 8 to 12, Jess, 8 to 12. We got ice, but our power isn't out yet. That's good, Zach. Hold on to that. Right now, we're over 100,000 customers without power. That's only expected to rapidly increase overnight. Sleeting in Ellis, Texas, 45 minutes south of Dallas. Will it turn to snow on the back end of the storm? Unfortunately, I think it might actually turn into ice here relatively soon. But after you get some accumulating ice, possibly some more accumulating sleet, then you're going to get cold air by tomorrow, mid to late afternoon. And then you get like a little bit of snow on the back end, but then it's going to be mainly cold in your region. So if you guys are joining right now, this is live radar, and we're just answering questions, really. I'm just kind of just chatting with everyone. Again, if you just spam, like the person who just spammed like 18 times, you're going to get muted. How many inches of ice in North Carolina? Well, I wouldn't put inches. I'll put between 0.25 and 0.5 inches of ice in interior North Carolina. Expecting those power outages to start build overnight. Don't be surprised if you lose power overnight or early tomorrow morning. It's raining at my house in northeast Georgia right now. Do you have a temperature report at your house? What I sent is clean. Come on my page. Dinosaur forecast of the polar vortex. Laughing because it's funny. Okay. Let me take one more gander at this. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. So I don't. If I swear, because don't ruin this for everyone. Okay. So if let me just take a quick peek. What? Okay. There is like no video to this. So this is what this person submitted to me. So someone submits something that actually means something to me. Because, there you go. There's a submission. I don't know what this is supposed to mean. Okay. So this is someone submitted this. So yeah, I'm not gonna be playing any audio with videos. Sorry. That one's a hard stance. So if you're just joining and want to be featured to everyone, to the over 300 people here, you can scan the QR code beneath me. If you don't know how to do that when you're like on your phone, like how do I scan the QR code if it's on my phone? Take a screenshot, go to your photos, and then 3D touch it, or there's like a way to actually read the QR code from there in your app, and then go to the link tree, and then go to submit your photos and videos, and then fill out the Google form, and then you can be featured as well. Okay, how much snow around Virginia? We're talking about a pretty good amount of snow here. At least initially, we're talking about between, like 5 to 8 inches, but then it's going to transition over into sleet and eventually icing. So Virginia should be concerned about icing, actually. It's pretty much uptrended. North Georgia, going to be starting to see more cold air starting to sink more southeast. So we got cold air right now starting to make its way into the northeast portions of Georgia. Then it's going to change your rain into possibly freezing rain at the surface. So it's going to get a little bit colder and unfortunately cause some freezing rain at the surface there. Northeast Ohio, a decent amount of snow. Let's check the NBM. Yeah, I have to shovel through all these. Actually, I really want to get. One second. Let me see if I can get these probabilistic snowfall reports back out. I don't know what's exactly going on. Oh, here we go. Okay, we're back online. Perfect. Okay, cool. All right, now we can do this. This is a lot more fun because I don't have to touch around to get stuff. So, taking a look at the latest best guess by the National Weather Service snowfall. I think the question was for Northeast Ohio. Correct me if I'm wrong. 8 to 12 inches of snow. Update in New York. So actual New York City, it's me right on that line. I'm putting in between 8 and 12 inches of snow, then a transition into sleet on the back end of the storm. Upstate New York, that's a pretty big amount of snow, 15 to 20 inches of snow. Southeast Ohio could see a transition into sleet or freezing rain. I put you at 7 to 11 inches of snow. North Carolina, about to see a huge amount of ice. Unfortunately, really just, especially interior North Carolina. Now, not coastal North Carolina, but interior North Carolina, about to see a lot of snow. A lot of ice. Nashville, Tennessee, about to start packing on that ice as the system begins to move northward. Can you tell me, it's right now my radar is saying it's freezing rain at Nashville right now. What is it looking like it there? Obviously, it's going to be a lot different than the radar can only scan up into the air. It can't scan it at the surface. Anyone in Nashville? Driving from Louisville, Kentucky to Little Rock, Arkansas. What are my chances? That's not happening. That's not happening. Oh my gosh. I didn't even say anything and I just got rebanned from gifting on TikTok. Actually, I don't know what's going on. So frustrating. So frustrating. You guys have no idea. Okay. Back into questions. Seeing a lot of people join in. Welcome in, everyone. We have live radar right here. We also have your current future forecast for icing and snowfall. Baltimore, Maryland did start off with snow. Still expecting between 8 and 12 inches of snow initially, and a transition over into freezing rain after that. Driving in snow is not impossible. Many people do it every day. Rev match. I'm talking about driving in ice. No one drives in ice. If they're telling you they can drive in ice, then they must be in a ditch, because that's the only way you can drive in ice. Unfortunately, it's just impossible to travel. If this person asked if they're going to Arkansas, it's impossible to drive in ice, so I would not recommend doing it because you just won't be making it there. Eastern Kentucky, I'm gonna start seeing a decent amount of ice here. Expect between 0.25 and 0.5 inches of ice. Expect decently widespread power outages. I've drove on ice. You've definitely not drove on accumulated ice before because your wheels would not go anywhere. Like, I'm talking about like freezing rain ice. Chains, that sounds, you still can't drive with chains on ice. Like, not like true freezing rain ice, I'm telling you. You can't. Metro Atlanta, you've uptrended in ice potential. Like, cold air is starting to seep to your south, so expect 0.25 to 0.5 inches of ice. It's called zero friction chains and won't work. Certainly wouldn't hurt, but still won't work. Okay, so someone else said that. Okay, so send me, if you think you can drive on ice, send me a video of you actually driving on like an accumulating icing surface. Like, I'm talking about, like, you go on to, if you threw like a pebble on the road, it'd like slide off. Like, I would love to see someone driving that because I don't think that's possible. Only I'm traveling is ice skating. Pittsburgh, 8 to 12 inches of snow. That one's easy. Oklahoma, additional 5 to 8 inches of snow. The National Service wants to be a little bit more aggressive on that, but I'm kind of putting it there. Mississippi barely got snow. Well, I don't know who told you it was going to snow in Mississippi because you're getting a lot of ice. I drive in ice because I plow ice for business. Okay, that you must be confused because you can't plow ice either. So you guys must live in a magical world because you can't plow ice because it's frozen. It's literally on the ground. Oh boy, I'm losing. Unless I'm going crazy here. Like, I've seen a lot more crazier comments than that. We might have to do a poll in the TikTok group chat. Oh, okay, let's do a quick just general poll. Who thinks you can plow ice? Like, I'm talking about freezing rain. So it freezes rain. Can you go out there with your plow truck and plow ice? Yes, yeah, or no? I'm just proving a point here, but okay, I'm not seeing anyone say yes, so I'm glad no one's. Why, Johnny? How do you plow ice? Eastern PA, what are the conditions looking like? Amount of snow, I've heard so many different numbers. Is Eastern PA in the east? I'm from Pennsylvania. I honestly do not remember where Eastern PA is. Eastern PA. I plow ice too. You guys, I can't. Please send me a video of you guys plowing ice. I'd love to see it. See if we got any more submissions. Guys, someone fill out the submissions, okay? We have the submissions box open. I want to feature more people. So far, we've only got 2, and only one of them was actually a real report. They lie. So, okay, and we're getting more on topic here. I think we're getting. I digress. Cincinnati expecting between 8 and 12 inches of snow. I live in Pennsylvania. We get ice, but it's like little. Okay, so that's not ice. I'm talking about freezing rain ice. Okay, like I'm not talking about grapple. I'm not talking about sleet. I'm talking about straight. It's raining when it's like liquid when it's falling and it freezes on contact. That type of ice. We're not talking about like hail or like that. That's a little bit of a. You got me there, but I'm talking about freezing rain. You cannot plow freezing rain. Connecticut expecting between 10 and 15 inches of snow. How long will school be out for Oklahoma? Honestly, they've been really keeping up with the conditions. I don't think you're going to get school off on Monday, unfortunately, unless you're cancel school due to cold temperatures. I don't understand the concept of ice. Also, what do you have for DC? Everyone's. This conversation is very interesting. DC, I think, is going to initially start off with snow. That's pretty certain. I think you would see between 7 and 11 inches of snow initially, and then unfortunately, I think you're going to transition over into either freezing rain or sleet. And of course, freezing rain will start to like sink your snow base, obviously that's fallen, but also will make, if they keep up with the roads, that won't really do much because then you'll get freezing rain and now the plows can't be out unless we have these magical people out here who think they can plow freezing rain. Then there's a reason why ice storms are so crippling is because you can't plow ice, you can't treat roads because your truck just slides off the road, right? Please don't spam chat. Georgia expecting a pretty major icing event here in the northeast portions of Georgia, including Athens, Atlanta, underneath ice storm warnings. Freezing rain cannot be plowed. Yeah, thank you. Finally, someone who has a brain here. I'm actually going insane with people saying they can plow ice today. Not the most crazy thing I've heard today, but okay. So, wait. There's something I want to show you guys. What's the best way? Oh yeah. Okay, I'm gonna show you this. Okay, who thinks this is a real measurement? So just a little quick side story. I posted this on Facebook, and I had over 10 people message me saying like they actually thought this was real, or they thought like I was being serious. Like that's the world we live in, where people think this is a serious post. So yes, that's 8 Jupiters. Like I actually was losing my mind when I put this on the forecast as like a joke, saying, wow, like this is the biggest snowstorm ever. And people actually were taking it seriously. Like I actually I lost it. I couldn't. I'm sorry. Just that was ridiculous. Jupiter is massive. Yeah, that's the thing. Who's getting the most amount of ice? How long does the event last for? Is it raining for 24 hours straight? So we're gonna do yes on 24 hours straight. Worst ice is going to be in northern central Mississippi, including places like Tupelo, Greenwood, kind of in this purple area, and additionally in the higher elevations of, actually just east of the higher elevations in the Carolinas and Georgia. So look at these bullseyes. These are actually relatively new on our model runs, so keep an eye on that. Boston expecting between 15 and 10 inches of snow. Vinny, welcome back. Glad to see your familiar face here from Pittsburgh, hometown. Oh gosh, what are we doing here? Okay, let's get that out of the way. Pittsburgh still expecting between 8 and 12 inches. Again, I'm shooting a little bit lower than the National Weather Service, but I know the Pittsburgh snow curse, so I'm going to go 8 to 12. I'm using my hometown bias on that one. A month late, we could have had a white Christmas. Yeah, woulda, shoulda, could have. Cleveland, Ohio. They should have made Christmas later, because then there would be better chances of being white. Cleveland is between 8 and 12 inches of snow. Atlanta, a major icing event, 0.25 inches of ice to 0.5 inches of ice. Should be prepared to lose power there overnight tomorrow, or possibly tomorrow. Charleston, South Carolina. Charleston's too far south. Luckily, you don't want to be in this. Your warm air from your ocean is going to save you from icing at the ground. Be careful of slick spots on elevated surfaces. Elevated surfaces still could be slick due to more efficient cooling. Why is it starting to go more north than predicted yesterday? Is it? I don't think it is. I mean, it might be a little bit misleading because there's kind of two phases. So right now, it looks terrible, right? Let's be honest. It looks pretty bad. This was pretty well forecasted by short-term models. As long as you didn't use our global forecasting models, what we have is this first phase here. So this is phase number 1, and this is phase number 2 right over here. Phase number 2 is what's kicking off the widespread event. And if we move it forward in time, you can really start to see we're getting some very heavy precip shield right here, and then all this just starting to fill in. This is all going to rapidly strengthen. Holy, how you type so fast. Please don't spam that fast. And it's going to, the future radar and the trends, it's going to start filling in. Then we're going to get lots of snow, lots of ice, and we're really just kind of starting off the main event here, unfortunately. Eastern PA near New Jersey, Phillipsburg, power outs. So I think Eastern PA is starting to trend up in power outage potential just because I think we're going to transition over to ice. So it's going to be about 7 to 10 inches of snow and then transition over to ice. And then you might lose power due to the icing event. Is Dallas still everything they said? Yes. I mean, it's a very tricky area, but notice how Dallas has kind of been in this quiet spot right in here, but our actual core event is starting to build to the west of you. So kind of into the evening hours here, that's where things are starting to start to pick up. Again, if you do spam chat, I will mute you. Please don't do that. Is it possible for Long Island, New York to get over 10 inches? Yes, I do think it is possible. Now, I think it's going to go from snow to sleet, but I think you have enough time where you possibly could build up into those higher amounts. Plus 8 inches. Is St. Louis going to get ice? No, I'm pretty certain on it staying snow the entire time there. Is Odessa going to get bad? So I think you see, what are you seeing right now? Because that really determines if you're seeing freezing rain right now, then that's not good. But if you're seeing mix, I think that's what's going to kind of mainly stay there, unless you get a little bit more warm air aloft. Then you might start to see some freezing rain. You guys hydrate. Someone says Oklahoma schools might be out till Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. Honestly, that is kind of an overestimate in my opinion. They've been really keeping up with the roads here. Maybe cold-wise, but I don't really see till Tuesday in Oklahoma. I mean, I guess they don't have that much snow for removal infrastructure, but they've been looking good right now. Again, we kind of just had the early stages of this storm. It's really beginning to get more and more strong. Like 90% of the storm is left. Like this is like the first 10%. And just for reference, we have over 100,000 people without power right now. Is it possible to move up through Chicago? I mean, I think some people in Chicago could start to see some accumulation, but it's not going to be a ton. Thank you, basketball, for apologizing for the spamming. It depends on where you are in Georgia basketball. So if you can give me your location a little bit better, then I can help you out a bit better. 8 to 12 inches in St. Louis. Indianapolis is expecting between 10 and 15. Southern Arkansas, almost Louisiana, like right in the middle. Still expecting a pretty major icing event there. You can see here, expecting between 0.25 and 0.5 more inches of ice. Yes, thank you, driver, for the the kind words. Help me battle the TikTok algorithm, guys. Join together and help battle the TikTok algorithm. Also, join the Rainy Day Weather family. We're almost at 50 new followers this stream. On our way to 70,000 in the Rainy Day Weather family. Okay. The Northeast. Oh, yeah, you should be ready for possibly power outages there, basketball. So, unfortunately, it's pretty certain what's happening right now is you might be... you're probably getting your first precipitation. It's not cold enough at the surface yet. However, what's happening is there's cold air bleeding down to the south. I guess I'll use a better color. It's bleeding down to the south right here. It's going to get in place where you're going to have rain. So there's warm air above your head, but there's cold air down at the surface. And the rain will fall through the column and then instantly freeze on contact as well. Up in Massachusetts, holy burr. Yeah, it's going to get cold after this event too. How bad is Columbia, South Carolina? Expecting between 0.2 and 0.5 inches of ice. Could see a decently amount of power outages there, so expect that. Someone said that next week Friday will snow, saying we believe. Well, Addison, honestly, I've been seeing the talk about next storm event, except there's not really good consensus on it yet, so I would not be trusting any forecasts for next Friday. Thank you, Tina, for the kind word. I really appreciate you guys. What about Nashville? So Nashville is really going to starting off its event here. You're going to be staying asleep, but I think unfortunately we have some warm air starting to creep up in your upper levels. That will start to cause some freezing rain. Of course, Addison, stay safe. Dearborn, Michigan. Not too many areas in Michigan are going to be getting any notable snowfall. Maybe max, 2 to 4 inches. Ice is nothing to play with friends. Please be so careful. Yeah, I know. The icing event, we're just kind of getting into the core of it, right? We still have over an inch of ice expected in a lot of areas. And just for reference, this event has, I think we've seen it probably between 10 and 20% of the impact of this event. We have over 100,000 customers. That's customers, households without power already. So that really shows the potential. There's only been a tiny bit of ice in these regions already, and it's been crippling, and it's already knocking out power. So let's see where we're at right now. We started 140. I think we might, we're at 129,000. So we kind of been bumping around a little bit. but it was at like 30,000 this morning, so it's really been rapidly increasing. Is it gonna be like 2021? I mean, right now, the cold air, like if people, the problem is, I don't think it's going to be that widespread, but the areas that do lose power in Texas, which are over 50,000 people, it's going to be very cold tomorrow. It's going to be like in the single digits. So now if you're going to have people without power and very cold temperatures, it's going to be very, very bad combination. Dew point in Cincinnati is very low. I wonder what will cut back on accumulation. So the column needs to saturate. That's correct. But because we're getting so much more lift and kind of a conveyor belt of moisture up into the region I'm drawing on my radar when people aren't looking, I think it's not going to cut back too much. Really, things are starting to kick off here. So it will take a second for the column to get saturated. That means you might see snow on the radar, but it's actually not snowing at the surface. The radar is seeing the snow up here, and it's falling. It's actually evaporating because it's a little too dry. It evaporates, then the column eventually gets saturated, and then that snow that falls out of the cloud reaches it to the ground. How much will Louisville get? Louisville is right on that area, though we're keeping an eye on that transition line. I'm expecting between 8 and 12 inches of snow, with a caveat of a sleet changeover. So sleet changeover might happen. Atlanta, Georgia should be prepared for a icing event there. Okay, I just got unbanned, so I'm gonna try to be very careful. We'll see what word triggers it. Okay, so we're gonna be very careful. If anyone's in chat knows what I'm talking about, you can say it to chat so they know. Okay, it's gonna be very quiet. I'm very, very careful. How's Charlotte looking? Charlotte is looking at ice coming to your region. It's only about to begin overnight tonight. Expecting between 0.25 and 0.5. Yeah, I mean, I already have all those things, and I've streamed for like a year. So, if you grab a space heater, some paper, and liquid gas in front of you, keep warm. I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea. Anything for Memphis? No. See, I literally didn't say anything, and I just got banned again. So I have no idea. I was also trying not to say like words of like sometimes like catastrophic or like major can be problems, or like violent words. Oh my God, it's so annoying. I don't know what to do. It's silly. I might have to actually like try to contact support. Cincinnati's still looking at like 12 to 14. Yeah, I think like 10 to 15 is Cincinnati good range there. It's going to skip over Georgia. Unfortunately not. Ice is coming to Georgia, especially in the northeast and eastern portions of Georgia here. People in chat are getting banned for their comments. What are they getting banned for? I'm really curious because I don't get notifications from auto bans. What should I be worried in Raleigh? I should be worried about the accumulating ice, expecting between 0.25 and 0.5. People spam chat AI. I don't know. I'm being bullied by TikTok AI. If you guys want to support me against TikTok AI, hit that follow and like button. I just don't really understand. Whatever. What's the purple? That's plus 0.75 inches of ice. It's major ice. It never came to Surrey County. Well, we're just beginning. We really have not even begun the most impactful part of the event. So this is kind of the live radar right now. This snow shield is really starting to increase in precipitation coverage. Again, our surface low pressure hasn't fully formed yet, so surface low is going to form right about here. This is what's going to drive a lot more lift into the atmosphere, and that's going to condense more moisture. So what's been happening like all day today is something you haven't been fully seeing. It's a large conveyor belt of very moist Gulf air that has been surging northward. Now we have all this moist air right here. It's waiting. It's basically sitting in the atmosphere, and then this low pressure is going to lift it up into the cold, and it's going to condense, making the snowflakes and fall down either in snowflakes, or if you're this is what a mess. If you're unfortunate enough, if it's warm enough up in the upper levels, then it's going to fall down as rain and then freeze on contact at the surface. Is it going to be bad tomorrow in Knoxville, Tennessee? Knoxville is an area where you might get enough warm air where you avoid the most major impacts, but you still could see slippery roads into this evening and tomorrow morning. Will there be ice/sleet in Norman, Oklahoma, OKC suburb area? I think we're going to be staying mostly snow and sleet, but the precipitation rates are really going to pick up overnight tonight. Northeast Ohio expecting between 8 and 12 inches of snow. Texas expected to see some more hazardous travel conditions. I mean, look at this. Anyone south of Dallas, we just had a sleet lightning bolt. So yes, that is actually very much expected because we have so much high intensity lift here with some of these convective cells. We actually have lightning inside of these storms. So it might be sleeting or snowing or icing, and you might get lightning. Also, a thing to remember, and don't be shocked by this. It's not something to be alarmed by, but if you're like in a freezing rain area, because there is warm air over your head, it kind of acts as like a dome. So when lightning strikes, it actually can reverb off the ceiling per se of the warm air, and it can actually make super thunder. It can make very loud thunder. Like you've heard thunder, but this thunder can multiply in loudness. So don't be surprised if you get woken up by a really loud bang. I don't want you to be alarmed by it. There's really not anything to be alarmed by. It's just something to be aware about. Like, wow, is the world ending? No, it's just an inversion over your head. That warm air acts as a dome. So something to consider with an inversion in place during an ice storm. Do you know when South Kansas might be done for tonight? I think it's going to stick in the snow shield until tomorrow, like early morning, unfortunately. Off and on snowflakes. You can see, look at this. We're really starting to get even the last, look at the last 2 hours. So, can anyone else notice, we see this just in this zone. We're talking about coverage, okay? Coverage really plays into the fact. So in this zone, this is 2 hours ago. Move it forward in time. I think we're getting more snow connection, more heavier snow, especially down in this area. That is really big signal that, hey, this storm is really starting to lift everything up as well. I heard a prediction about exploding trees. Okay, so I've made a video about this too. It has over 700,000 views. So I think I talked just briefly about exploding trees. So it is rare. The tree doesn't physically look like a explosion happens per se, but it sounds like an explosion because they're talking about a lot of pressure inside the tree and then it all gives out at once. So the actual tree can expand and kind of look like it exploded. It basically is exploding, but not like a full fire ball. Because I think some people thought it was like a full fireball. So that is, and it's also a lot more rare than people were saying. It is pretty rare to happen. There are a handful of documented cases, but it's just not to be misleading. It's like a cool weather fact. It's not something where you need to be avoiding hiking because you might get hit by an exploding tree. No, that's a bit insane. Someone said, "Can the Iron Dome help us?" No, this is weather. Does a warm dome collide with cold to make the sound? Tina, the warm dome kind of just acts as like a cap, per se. Because its air density changes. Because it's like thinking about instead of it basically is like a physical feature. You know, going from air to a mountain. That's density, of course, a lot more major, but it acts as a cap. for that. Oh gosh, we're getting a little bit too close to making weather political, so I'm going to strive away from that. Will D get snow? Oh, Delaware. I was like, will D get snow? I was like, what does that mean? Delaware is going to start off as snow, and then possibly transition into freezing rain. So you should be ready for snow tomorrow morning and afternoon, and then transition into freezing rain tomorrow night. Charlotte, North Carolina ice totals expecting between 0.25 and 0.5 inches of ice. Unfortunately, could see widespread power outages there. Just for reference, kind of northeast Texas so far, I believe, has gotten about 0.2 inches of ice. I'm circling this area here. There we go. And that area has over 50,000 people without power. So keep that in mind. Not to be alarming you, but you should be prepared. Charge your devices tonight. You might lose power tonight or tomorrow. Wilson, North Carolina should be, oh gosh, got something in my eye. Should be ready for icing. Gosh, what is my eye? Okay. Someone asked, do I think this will cancel school for days? So it really depends on your infrastructure. First of all, we'll switch over to ice. ice really is detrimental because you can't plow ice unless you're some magical genies we had about 20 minutes ago saying they could plow ice. You can't get the plow truck out there, and you basically have to wait for it to melt. So if you get anywhere plus 0.25 inches of ice, I could see long-term infrastructure and travel issues because you have to wait for the ice to melt. Except we're not expecting a warm up until midweek this week, probably Tuesday or Wednesday. So it's really not possible, or it's very possible we're going to lose, other cancellations here. Sorry if I'm like kind of slightly out of it. The main reason is as a student meteorologist, like I'm in school, but I'm studying abroad. So number one, that's like the first thing. I've reversed engineered my sleep schedule so I could be up with you guys for the Eastern Standard. So, for example, it's midnight for me, but I've stayed up at 4 a.m. for the past 5 nights. I've probably been updating about 50 hours this week, so it's been a bit of a grind, and that's why I'm actively drinking a Red Bull. So hopefully you guys appreciate that. But I just want to apologize if I seem like a little like what this kid looks like he's distraught. I'm getting through it. Okay. And Tina asking a good question. I do want to talk about this. Just I won't talk about too long because I've talked about it a decent amount. And got a question. Is this like weather modification? And the big thing I have about this is, we've been talking about this for like a week, and the things we use to talk about it is physical models. These models were developed like 30 years ago. At least, they first started 30 years ago. They use physics. They use differential equations for my friends in the chat who know what differential equations are, Calc 3. They use all these equations, and what they do is they take a data set, because we have all these weather stations across the world. They take the data set, and they basically plug the data into a bunch of math equations like 2 plus 2 equals 1, and you plug it, but you don't know what the 2 plus 2 is, and the equals is what it runs. And then it outputs the storm, right? There is no variable for, hey, we're going to modify the weather, because we don't. And that's why right now, instead of seeing something that was completely not modeled by our physical models, this looks pretty similar to what was modeled by our models that use math and calculus. So all those people saying contrails and whatnot is like causing this storm, and that's just bonkers, because the reason we know there's a storm coming is because we're using physical models that have no idea that there are attempts at weather modification. And lastly, weather modification, it is attempted. It still has not been proven to work at all. And the only way it is hypothetically possible to work is they try to increase rain inside a cloud that's already formed. You can't form a cloud, but you can try to help a cloud by putting it's called nucleotides inside it. So basically more things for water to grab and then fall. But it doesn't really work. So all of that together, it doesn't work. We use physical models to predict snowstorms. So how in the world would we be able to do that anyways? It's just bonkers. So people are a little bit crazy out there. But I do talk about it because I think it's important to talk about so people understand and learn as well. Okay, Caleb, see, this is exactly what I've been doing with wrong. All those things I just said, let me know what thing I just said that was illogical, because I'd love to hear the defense about that. Have you seen Sean Ryan podcast? I've not. I don't really listen to crazy stuff. Trust me, I've done the math, and you can learn how to do the math and calculate these stuff. So, all right. I'm seeing if anyone else is any. Okay, we got some more people in. We have a YouTube as well. So, how much snow are we getting in Sallisaw, Oklahoma? I'm expecting between an additional 5 to 8 inches on the core of the storm. It's really starting to build the precipitation shield. So this is only going to get stronger. Back to the real world. Yeah, thank you for drawing me back in. Northeast Georgia, I'm expecting between 0.25 and 0.5 inches of ice. Did it change? I mean, not really. Nothing's really majorly changed. South Mississippi. If you're in extreme South Mississippi, you're going to avoid any impactful weather. I have not talked about this yet, but I do want to talk about it right now. So tomorrow I'm going to be covering this again because that's how it goes, right? Did you guys know we have a tornado risk tomorrow? A decent one too. Right in here, we actually have a slight risk, 2 out of 5 for, I guess the 2 out of 5 is for Pensacola and Tallahassee. Panama City, Doniphan, Columbus, Albany, Troy. So we actually have an isolated tornado threat here as well. So not to add to the craziness, but yes, there is a tornado threat on top of all of the other things that are happening tonight into tomorrow. But I just want to put that on your radar. So tomorrow we might actually be tracking a tornado while there's significant icing happening and while there's significant snowing happening all at the same time. Talk about the most crazy weather you can have, right? So I wanted to point that out for you guys as well. So, let me go back to our radar here. Someone says, hey man, how's it going? Luciano, I believe. Can you talk about Columbus, Ohio? Yeah, of course. Not too much to talk about. I'm pretty sure you're safe in staying just snow. So I'm putting you between 8 and 12 inches of snow there. Louisiana, please don't spam chat. Northern Louisiana is going to get some ice overnight. Expect some pretty widespread power outages there. Already up to 50,000 power outages in the region. And expect that number to rapidly increase because we're talking about the more accumulation or the more accretion you get, which is accumulation for ice, the really skyrockets in power outages. So expect those to start to develop even more. Anyone lose power yet? I know there's 100,000 people without power right now. Obviously, if you're without power, you probably shouldn't be on TikTok wasting your phone battery, but I'm sure there's someone out there, right? How's it looking for New Hampshire? Underneath a winter storm warning. Expecting between 10 to 15 inches of snow there. Hey, bro, you YouTube guy here. Yes, what's up, dude? Sorry I missed the stream earlier. I was burning some wood. Oh, you're all good. You don't have to apologize for missing the stream. You're good. Does the low off the mid-Atlantic coast look like it's going to stay close? I mean, we can put it in the future radar. I can do a little bit of more of a scientific breakdown for you, walk you through the process here. Oh, yeah, okay, that's the right model. And sorry for the model whiplash. It's just kind of what we have to do here. Also, if you're interested in this app I'm using, it is completely free. I also have a creator code for it. Scan the QR code right beneath me, take a screenshot of this this video, and you can get to the link tree. It says like Weatherfront app link, and click that link. Redeem the code. So taking a look at the low pressure, actually we'll switch on. So this is, I don't usually do this often, but we'll switch on mean sea level pressure. Now what happens here is we have a surface low pressure. That's going to be our origin low pressure over here. So if you don't know, low pressure is kind of just the system, just generally provides lift in the atmosphere. But what happens is due to the due to the Appalachian Mountain chain right here, very often, almost every time, our low pressure jumps. So the low pressure doesn't really like jumping over mountains. It kind of jumps just physically. So then we get another low pressure starting to deepen right here. And this really drives a really big amount of lift right in this corridor right here. So we first get lift in this corridor due to our low pressure over here. Then we get a lot more lift from that low pressure over there. And then it yanks itself to the northeast due to some upper level dynamics as well. But you can see how the storm's going to unfold. We'll cut off the lows just so you can see precipitation and see future radar all together. Let me answer some questions as you guys watch that. Wow, that ice really pushed north. Yeah, I know. The thing is, so our entire storm structure really changed, especially on the eastern side of the system. It's moved into more of a cutter motion compared to a sliding motion, which means it kind of cuts up to the northeast. What does the severe weather threat look like for tomorrow? We have a tornado risk, actually, in places like New Orleans, Pensacola, the Florida Panhandle, southern Alabama, and southern Georgia. We could see a couple of strong tornadoes tomorrow due to a supercell threat. Atoka, Oklahoma, expecting between 5 and 8 more inches of snow. Indianapolis, expecting between 8 and 12 inches of snow. Where are you live from? Luciano, I'm currently live from Madrid. I'm studying in Madrid. I'm a student meteorologist, but I'm currently taking a semester abroad. So that's why I've re-engineered my sleep schedule to be with you guys. So, when does Cosby, Tennessee get hit? We honestly haven't seen anything get passed for here to come. So Beverly, as you can see, let me switch back to our model run. It's pretty weak right now. It's move back here. So generally across the board, you can see it's a very broken system, but notice how we put this more in time. Coverage starts to rapidly increase. This is now tomorrow, about 5 a.m. Notice how we have a solid snow shield, and it's been the models have been showing this entire time. So don't be tricked. Don't be fooled by people saying it's underproducing. Really, it's kind of going right on schedule, maybe a little bit even ahead of schedule. Then you're going to start seeing some impacts tomorrow morning, overnight into tomorrow morning. Don't be surprised in these icing places if you lose power overnight. Right there. All right, let's switch over to our radar. There we go. Charlotte, North Carolina, expecting between 0.25 and 0.5 inches of ice. Okay, I thought we got lucky. Yeah, unfortunately, Beverly, your event is just beginning here. If you guys are enjoying the live forecast, follow for more updates. We're on our way to 70,000 new followers. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We also just got a new snow report, so we're switching over here. If you didn't know, I currently have a community thing where you can submit your own snow and videos and photos to be featured on Rainy Day Weather with credit, of course. The way to do that is you scan the QR code beneath me. If you don't know how to do that when you're like watching it with your phone, take a screenshot and go on your photos, and you can tap on it and get to it. Press on the link tree, like submit your photos, and then you can go through the form. Let's see what this person submitted. This person didn't say who they are, but we can. So this is from Maryland. Let's see, Maryland. Again, I'm just gonna. Okay, wait, that was. Are you serious? I think that was the wrong one. 1 second. Oh wait, no. Okay, this is from Easton, PA. Okay. Oh yeah, this is good. So this is from Easton, PA. Thank you for the report. Here you go. It's already actually looking really cold there. My gosh. So that's kind of the calm before the storm. That's before the storm is actually even there. So we'd love to see. It looks like the roads are fine right now, but of course things are going to rapidly deteriorate in that region. So if you'd like to be featured, feel free to scan the QR code below and submit your questions. Pittsburgh, 8 to 12 inches of snow. Let's do a refresh on how many people are without power. 131,000 people without power. 51,000 in Texas and 50,000 in Louisiana. Kind of spread out between all the other states beyond that as well. Philadelphia is going to start off as snow, but expecting between 8 and 12 inches of originally snow, then switching over to sleet, possibly freezing rain on the end of the event. It's 16 degrees in Maryland right now. Yeah, get ready. The system is coming. That's why I'm suspicious of how far models have been bringing up that warm nose, at least aloft. But I mean, that kind of means like if the warm air does intrude up in the upper levels, it's pretty certain you're going to see either sleet or freezing rain if it does end up being rain. The warm nose is extremely powerful. So it's like we're talking about it possibly being like 23 degrees at the surface and then like 45 degrees, like a mile above your head. It's insane. San Antonio, expecting some possible icing within your region overnight. We'll see how far that cold air does sink down to the south. Okay, I was getting a message from someone, so I'm keeping an eye on it. Okay, we're 4 followers away, guys, from 50 new followers. Join the Rainy Day Weather family. Bi-daily updates. Also going to be walking you through this event. Here to answer your guys' questions. Going to be live tomorrow. This is crazy to hear if you don't know. Tomorrow's threats, and this is not a lie, is we have extremely heavy snow. We have extremely large amount of accretion of ice, power outages. And lastly, we have a tornado threat, a 2 out of 5 slight risk for places like northern Florida, the Florida Panhandle, southern Georgia, southern Alabama. So yes, we have all of those things to track tomorrow. Incredible. Oh gosh, see, I just talked about cloud seeding, but yes, this is not affected by cloud seeding at all. This storm system is done by large-scale dynamics, not human interaction. This thing is way too big to be interacted at all by humans. We are very small compared to it. What will New York State be like? I have friends there. I'm in Australia. Yes, well, depending on where you are in New York State can really change the outcome of your kind of snowfall. I think generally the entire state of New York is going to be seeing some significant snowfall. New York City and Long Island, that's the most likely area where we might transition over into a more of a sleet or icing event there as well. So you got to keep an eye out. Long Island, I'm expecting between initially 8 to 12 inches of snow, and then it's transition over into sleet or freezing rain. So be very careful. Like if you're in like New York City, New Jersey, the DMV region, like Washington, Baltimore, you might start off as snow and be like, okay, I have 4-wheel drive. The roads are not too bad. The plows are out. Then you drive tomorrow, like afternoon. Then you go out to like, I don't know, what's a fun thing to go out to? I guess it's Sunday. So you drive out. Let's say you go to the local Get Air. Wait, no, let's just do. You go to the local trampoline park, and then you come out and it's now raining. But then you look at your thermometer on your car and it's 27 degrees. Well, now you've just trapped yourself at a trampoline park. And would anyone like to be trapped at a trampoline park? Let me know, because like trampoline parks are like fun for like an hour or two, but beyond that, like, are they really that fun? What's Madrid's temperature like today? It's finally not rained. It's been really honestly dreary weather since I've gotten here. It was like 45. It's better than back at home, that's for sure. Okay, someone said no, but I would not like to be trapped in a trampoline park. Well, that's good. Me neither. There's worse places to be stuck than a trampoline park. Okay, where would you guys like to be, or where is your best place to be stuck at and worst place to be stuck at? Hey there, do you have the HER for the Lexington, Kentucky area? Is it all sleep from 4 a.m. to 7 p.m. now? I can show you the latest HER. I also have the RRFS. Also, the HER is getting retired soon, by the way, if you didn't know that. Getting replaced by the RRFS. That's why I've been using the RRFS more. Not only so I can use it and kind of get used to it, but also so I can learn the model biases for it. So taking a look at the future forecast here, kind of in the Lexington area. Let me scoot this back in time. You're really close. You're really close between that transition line. You can see you're starting off as snow tonight, about midnight, and then you're really close to that line. Look at that sleet, freezing rain line. Oh my gosh, it's literally right on you, plus or minus 10 miles. I mean, I can't really tell you with that. I mean, you're right on that border. And of course, model bias there. The HER sometimes overdoes warm nose events, so I think you have a little bit of hope staying all snow, but man, unfortunately, it's basically impossible to tell you if you're going to stay one way or the other. All right, so let's zoom out again. Current radar, just to show you how things have been trending wise, we've really gotten more precipitation. I mean, look at this. We've almost filled in for all of this region here. I mean, they can really start to see that lift. Okay. Do you speak Spanish? I speak very little Spanish, but that's why I came over here to learn, or at least help my high school Spanish. I'm taking a Spanish course as well. I have enough Spanish where I can like order food and like survive. So yeah, it's crazy. I'm in a super bad spot. I know. It's tough. As I like to say, these warm nose events are like a meteorologist's nightmare because they're so hard to communicate scientifically to the general public for them to understand. Like, you could either get like a foot of snow or like this magical thing called the warm nose could spoil it, and you could get like 2 inches of sleet or like a half an inch of ice. And unfortunately, our computer and our models are just not like magic 8 balls, which can tell us the exact one, because the warm nose is historically extremely hard to predict, unfortunately. LaGrange, Georgia, says someone who says, please, bro. Can you tell me if that's north or south, Georgia? Also, I got a question after that. Julietto, is that north or south, Georgia? If you can help me out. By Columbus. Oh, okay. So I think you're going to avoid all the icing there, all the winter precip. However, this is going to sound crazy to you. Tomorrow you have a tornado risk, Giulietto, sorry. So yes, you do have an active tornado risk for tomorrow. Yeah, you're pretty close to that tornado risk. Actually, you might see some light icing. You're a little bit further north, so might see some light icing there. I'm going to reverse my statement because I thought you were pretty close to a little bit further north than I thought. So you could see some light icing tomorrow. I would be very careful. Check local road conditions for updates on that. Southern Illinois, going to see a decent amount of snow here. Hopefully you stay out of that mixed lane. Let's see here. We can switch over. We haven't been switching over here. Ooh, depends on how south you are. The more north you are, the way more higher chance you're seeing a lot more snow. So current estimates between 8 and 12. What I live up close to Carrollton. Yeah, you can see some light icing there. The DMV is going to start off as snow, expecting between 8 and 12 inches initially of snow, then switching over to mix, and then possibly switching over to freezing rain. Kind of a smorgasbord of an event there. Yeah, I mean, you can see the Pittsburgh finally getting a big snowfall event, and I'm not there. I guess that was the bad luck charm for Pittsburgh. I was, that's my hometown, and State College, and the one time I decided to study, I go abroad for an extended amount of time. Oh yeah, the biggest snowstorm in like 10 years, of course. Southeast Kansas, expecting between 3 and 5 inches of snow. Jamestown, Ohio, 8 to 12. Akron, Ohio, 8 to 12 as well. Wintle, Charlotte, North Carolina, winery with the start, says, I lost your name, but expecting tonight, like kind of pretty soon here, because you can see on our live radar, this first chunk is going to start making its way over to you. Some freezing rain potential as there's some warm air aloft right here, so be ready for that. Northern New Jersey, expecting between 10 and 15 inches of snow if you're in the northern portions of New Jersey. If you're southern New Jersey, you might have a switch over, which will change things. Savannah, Georgia. Could see some severe weather tomorrow. Should be a weather aware for that. Actual wintry impacts are less likely. Someone asking is, did you go to Penn State for school? I currently go to Penn State for school. I'm studying abroad in Madrid right now. I'm in my junior year. Very great school. And if you're ever interested in knowing more, I'm happy to help out. I'm bundled up already. Yeah. It's going to get cold after this event too, guys. It's going to get very cold. Okay, great. Yeah, we have over 140,000 people without power. It's kind of insane. And we've really not worked our way into the bulk of this. I have a senior in June and a sophomore. Nice, we are. Penn State. Gotta drink the Kool-Aid. Okay. Iowa. I'm not really going to get involved in this snowstorm, honestly. Maybe a little bit of accumulation in the southern portions of Iowa, but not going to be a lot. Huntsville, Alabama. Oh my gosh. Yes, icing is going to start here very soon, so be ready for that. I believe you might be underneath an ice storm warning. Let me just confirm that. Throw that on. Oh, wow. Actually, you're right outside any winter weather alerts. You actually might stay rain at the surface. It's really close. I'd still be cautious if you need to travel there for any slick spots, especially on elevated surfaces like bridges. That's rain for me. Ice. It's raining ice. Oh, gosh. Someone said Atlanta is under a tornado warning. That is definitely not right. There's no shot. And also, I just looked at the warning, so... they're lying, right? Also, wait, I have... Okay, yeah, I know you're lying because I have alerts. Okay, so I'm just getting some funny text, so I'm laughing. Lexington, South Carolina. I mean, South Carolina is an area that is going, interior and central South Carolina is going to start to be seeing some icing event. I'm concerned about icing building over tonight into tomorrow. Can expect between 0.25, 0.5 inches of ice. It's plenty enough to start to see some isolated or widespread power outages there. Yeah, ice storm warning for Atlanta. That's correct. Not tornado warning, James. I don't really know how you can get that one confused, but sure. But really, I mean, just over the course of the 1.5 hours of the stream, look at this. Really starting to get some snow out here. The actual snow shield is starting to fill in. That's a huge indicator of our storm getting stronger. That's a pretty good sign. So you look at like a couple of hours ago to right now, all this stuff is filling in. And our atmosphere is starting to get saturated too. So it might initially show up on your radar like, oh, my radar showed it's snowing. Why is it not snowing yet? The surface layer needs to saturate enough. It means the humidity needs to get big enough and high enough, which snowflakes don't evaporate when they fall down. Is your family currently watching you from the USA? I believe some family members are, yes. Especially since a lot of them are under the winter storm warnings. They get to enjoy the snowstorm while I'm here. Is Philly going to get less or more snow? To what reference point, Max? I think Philly's going to get plus 6 to 10 inches of snow. but then we have that chance of switching over to sleet or ice on top of it. When asking about my hometown, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, yes, 8 to 12 inches of snow. Biggest snowstorm in Pittsburgh's past 10 years. That is very, very confident. Pretty safe from a transition line over into sleet, especially in the Pittsburgh area, Allegheny County. Enjoy it. Travel is basically going to be impossible tomorrow, so I would not recommend doing it. Get out there, build a snowman, enjoy it. Take some photos because, hey, it's been a long time since we've had this amount of snow in Pittsburgh. Always seems to like lose us in the last second, but we're pretty confident in this one. Boston, Massachusetts is expecting between 15 and 20 inches of snow. I've gotten okay. I just got a request from my cousins. Shout out to Emma and Francis. Thank you guys for supporting me. Hopefully you guys enjoy the snow. You're actually going to experience some snow I haven't experienced in probably like 15 years. So consider yourself very lucky. What about travel in the next 2 weeks in Georgia? I mean, like, this is not going to be, and Flynn. This is, thank you, and also Flynn. So this is not going to be like a multiple week event. However, there is going to be another storm system kind of behind this. It's on my radar. The model confidence is lower than what was originally for this storm. So that's why I haven't made one video on it yet. So this is a common thing that happens is like the one time we get like a really big storm, right? Everyone thinks we have like a magical ball in which we can see storms really far out. But like, obviously, if you've been following the weather, like there's a lot of times in which you see a storm like this, which is really far out in time, but doesn't have a lot of confidence, and people post the actual model runs, and then it ends up just not happening. So this one obviously was different. One of the biggest snowstorms in a very long time. But if we take a look at like next weekend, nothing. And this is the Euro. So people were posting the American model about 180 hours out, about plus 200 hours out, which is a very long time for a deterministic model. And as you can see, the latest Euro, which is pretty much top of the class for snowstorms, is showing nothing. That's why we don't post things that far in advance, because it's basically useless for you guys because you're just like getting clickbaited by something that's probably not going to happen. All right, back on to the questions. Erie, Pennsylvania. Yeah, you're going to get involved in the snowstorm. I'm expecting between 8 and 12 inches of snow. Maybe some, so that's going to be mostly synoptic level snow, but then after that, you could get involved in some lake effect on top of that. Pittsburgh, 8 to 12. Tennessee. Right now, you're getting some mixed precipitation across the state. A little bit localized. Here is the live radar. Things are going to really start to get some heavier snowfall rates and icing accumulation rates, sleeting rates throughout your like into your evening, into your overnight. So expect some power outages to start to build in Tennessee, especially western and central Tennessee. Pink is either mix or ice. I don't think Pittsburgh is going to get involved in lake effect bands. It usually does not make it that far unless you get a really powerful one. Also, wind direction I don't think is correct. I think it's more of an westerly wind out of the west. All right, guys, I'm going to refill my water real quick, literally 1 minute. However, I like to leave you guys with a question while I go get water. Oh, yes, I'm going to go with the one I said at my last stream. What is everyone's must-go-to snack during a winter storm? All right, I better see some good answers. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. Let's see what we got. What are some good snacks out there? Is alcohol a snack? I'll allow it for this one. Oatmeal bars and Reese's. Oh, honestly, Reese's sounds really good right now. Ooh, hamburger. That sounds pretty good too. All right, appreciate the follows, guys, and the likes. We just hit 25,000 likes. The support over the past week has been crazy, especially on both the platforms here. So thank you guys so much for it. Again, as a student meteorologist, one kind of man behind the screen, it has been a lot of work, but you know, it's something I would have been doing anyways. So it's really amazing to share it with. I think we've reached over 15 million people, 15 to 20 million people just in the past 5 days. So thank you guys so much. And Pringles. Okay, let's get back on some questions here. Thank you for the kind words, guys. Can you fix the time? So Redneck, this is Redneck Dad. That's a funny name. This is current radar, so you can't really. I can show you the future time. If you give me your location, I can time it out for you. This may seem odd, but onion rings. Ooh, that sounds interesting. I don't know if that would be my first choice. That's fair. What do you think will happen in Cleveland, Ohio? A lot of snow. I think you're definitely in the part of the area that I'd be pretty solid on staying snow. That's going to put you between 8 and 12 inches of snow. Same forecast for Pittsburgh, PA, 8 to 12. Marietta, Georgia. Should be expecting some icing there. Get ready. Pittsburgh, PA is also 8 to 12 again. I'm in Greenville, South Carolina. I'm just curious, what do you think? Taking a look at Greenville. Actually, we can switch over to our icing, which is one of these tabs, right? Greenville. Oh gosh. I think you definitely may lose power overnight and into tomorrow, especially between 0.5 and 1 inch of ice. That's in our heavy impact zone. We're talking about a lot of power outages. See, okay, we haven't got any more snow reports or, again, weather reports, guys. Down below is the link to submit your own photos and videos to be featured on the stream. So check that link down below. It's the QR code, I guess. You guys scan the QR code. How much snow do you think Missouri will get? Ooh, I don't think. Oh yeah, let me switch over here. So southern Missouri, actually, like St. Louis, has really shifted into like the bulk of the snow, which is kind of funny because we've really just shifted a lot north, tending to do with these type of snowstorms. Southern Missouri, between 8 and 12, like Springfield, Jefferson City, St. Louis, Columbia, more of a 4 to 8. Then northern Missouri, unfortunately, not a lot. In Maryville, Tennessee, we got nothing. They wanted snow. Oh, unfortunately, you're going to be getting ice as a consolation prize for not getting snow in Tennessee. I do apologize. The good news is there's going to be, if your kids want snow in Tennessee, there's going to be a lot of cold air to work with over the next 3 to 4 weeks, actually. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities for snow and problematic weather. So that's why it's a really active time. Any update on when we'll see some action in North Carolina? Yes, so if we look at the live radar, you can start to see our first kind of precipitation shield here. This is actively moving into your region over, and I think it's really going to start picking up overnight because if you didn't realize, our entire system is rapidly strengthening. So right over here, this is kind of an indicator of like, okay, what is going on here? Holy, the person types fast. Please don't spam chat. Just to be fair for everyone. Also, it's chill in chat, so I can get to almost everyone. So, what we're seeing on the radar here is the snow spreading out and becoming more connected. That means more general lift is happening in the atmosphere due to a surface low pressure forming right about here, possibly back into like the central portions of Texas. It hasn't fully formed, so it's kind of hard to say where it's thinking of forming. Somewhere here, what this is doing is it's lifting up the air. It's causing a lot of lift in this region. The air has been basically set up. So all today, the air has been set up with very moist air moving into position during the entire day. So don't worry, the storm was working even though it was not too strong today. It was working by kind of setting the scene. Now we have a ton of moist air to work with that will now be used for our snow, ice, and rain. Good evening. Can you go over the Indianapolis metro area? Yes, of course. Let's head over there. You've really trended into the core area of the snow, putting between 8 and 12 inches of snow. Sorry for spamming. Oh, you're good. I like how you said you're sorry for spamming, but then you're spamming, I'm sorry for spamming. So I don't think you're sorry enough. I'm putting you back in timeout for 30 seconds. It's not personal, I swear. Any snow for Greensboro or Raleigh? Unfortunately, it's just going to be, you might get some snow in like the next few hours, but then it's going to rapidly change over into ice as warm air starts to override. Chase asks about Pennsylvania. Here's the general forecast for Pennsylvania. A lot of the area you're going to see over a foot of snow. Pretty crazy storm, right? There we go. Union City should be expecting some ice in Tennessee here. Ohio, here's Ohio. The general state, between 8 and 12 inches of snow. Southern Ohio could transition to freezing rain or mix. Athens, Georgia, between 0.5 and 1 inches of ice. Should be prepared for some power outages overnight. And into tomorrow. Any more snow for Richmond, Kentucky? Where's Richmond? Kentucky? I actually don't know where Richmond, Kentucky. Give me like a cardinal direction. I was kidding, but I'm sorry for spamming. Okay. Okay. I'm putting you, every time you do that, I'm going to mute you for longer and longer. So, Long Island. I'm expecting between 8 and 12 inches of snow initially, then a transition over into freezing rain or sleet to kind of cap it all off for your tomorrow evening. Okay, so a really great question for Boone, North Carolina, and the Appalachian Mountains. You actually might be in one of the safest places out of all this. And the main reason for that, if you're in the higher elevations, remember, we're going to have an inversion. So it means it's warmer aloft, right? So all these areas you're seeing for icing in the Carolinas and in Georgia, you have what's called cold air damming. So we have very cold air that's sitting there right now and slowly dragging to the south. But when you have, our low pressure that's driving warm air to the north. So this cold air is like a big bully. It does not want to move. So what the warm air does instead is it rides above it. And now you have warm air kind of above this really cold air layer. However, if you're in the mountains, well, you just put yourself in a higher layer of the atmosphere. So your surface is now above freezing. So now you have warm air above you and also right next to you. That removes the threat for freezing rain, at least to some extent. It's not going to be totally removing it all, but it could really help you avoid the worst of the worst icing. We're talking about you drive down the mountain, then you're driving into a significant icing event. You drive up the mountain, and now you're just in rain. So keep that in mind. Could see some slick spots, but your friends to the east are unfortunately much more in danger of significant icing. Richmond is south of Lexington, Kentucky. Oh, yes, I see. Okay, so unfortunately, I think you're just getting a major icing event between 0.4 and 0.8 inches of ice. Thank you, Aaron, for the follow. Appreciate that. Welcome to the Rainy Day Weather family. See if we can hit 30,000 likes, guys. Again, if you're joining the stream, that is the best way to support me, at least right now, because of TikTok being silly. You also could join the Rainy Day Weather family as we are marching towards 70,000 followers, guys. It's crazy. Let's see. We are less than 1,800 away. Northeast Ohio. Still between 8 and 12 inches of snow. Do you have any good news for Richmond, Kentucky? You have good bourbon and whiskey, I believe, right? Yeah, like at least Kentucky's known for that. I'm doing the right alcohol, correct? Other than that, unfortunately, I mean, if you don't like ice, charge your devices. You have a heads up. That's another good piece of information, right? Chesapeake, Virginia, expecting to start off as snow, but then rapidly change over to possibly ice on the back end. So 8 to 12 inches of snow initially. And then, okay, cool. I was in the right alcohol category. And then over into freezing rain, unfortunately. Has the storm shifted north at all? I've heard it's been hard to track. Okay, so yeah, the main reason it's been so tough to track, here's the live radar, is we were dealing with it's called a warm nose. You have warm air going over cold air in three-dimensional atmosphere. Changes in precipitation type can cause extremely complicated forecasts, especially trying to get snow totals, because if you get warm air making mix or freezing rain, obviously that's not snow. Doesn't stack as well, or just completely removes the snow. So our models don't really forecast it very well, especially locally. I mean, it hasn't really shifted north in the past 48 hours, other than the I-95 corridor. Some warm air might start snaking its way all the way up the I-95 corridor into places like New York City. But other than that, not much. Who's catching the worst as far as ice? I mean, you can see in northern Mississippi and western Tennessee, it's pretty bad. Over an inch of ice. As I've said during this and before this event, this has not fully. I think they've gone up to like 0.1, 0.2 inches of ice already, but there's a lot more coming, unfortunately. What this means is major tree damage, major power outages, possibly for days. And then the last piece of bad news is instead of going to freezing rain like ice to like a warmer environment where like your environment warms up and it melts the ice and then you're okay, cold air is behind the storm. It's going to lock the ice in place on the roads and on the power lines and cause even more issues. So it might be, some people might be trapped until Tuesday until they can go on the roads until it warms up. Yo, I have the app. How did you get the setting up where it shows snow and stuff? So you have to go, I can show you, like the bottom of your screen, depending on what you are, you have to like click the bottom of the screen and then look at the top, and then you have to scroll. Like you see the scroll bar here. Let me just see if it's on screen. I'm taking a look at my screen. You're gonna scroll over. Oh yeah, it's like right next to me. So you're gonna scroll over to like model, and then you click on model, and then select it. Also, if you've gotten the app, make sure you click the free premium subscription because that gives you access to all the models as well. What radar app or what radar am I using? I'm using Weatherfront. It's totally free to use, but I also have a free premium month code that's going to be linked if you scan the QR code, or you can get the link tree in my bio to get that as well. So feel free. Honestly, the best weather app out there. It's a little bit complicated, so if you ever need help, feel free to DM me. But like once you navigate a little bit of it, then it's pretty easy to use. Got a question for Alexandria, Virginia. So we're going to start off as snow. Could see between 7 and 11 inches of snow. And then you're going to switch over to either sleet or icing, unfortunately, in that region. So expect kind of all those things. I don't know how to feel about that comment I just saw. How much snow is expected in Richmond, Kentucky? Just generally, I mean, it's not going to be a lot like this. I think it's snowing right now, so there might be some snow making its way down the surface. Unfortunately, what's happening, though, so you're looking at the live radar, you can see the radar, at least, his best guess is it's snowing. But what you don't see on radar is there's warm air being pulled up to the north. It's like slowly sliding, and that's not at the surface. So it's still going to be very cold at the surface. It's still like going to be like 20s. Now, unfortunately, this warm air is not at the surface. It's just above the surface. It's kind of like it's called overriding the cold air. So now you go up a mile. What's going to be happening in Kentucky, Tennessee, the Carolinas, Arkansas, Mississippi, all these areas are going to get ice. Cold at the surface. You go up a mile, it's going to be like 45 degrees. It's going to be really weird. It doesn't usually happen because, usually it gets colder as you go up. But this is a unique case in which causes that freezing rain threat as well. All right. Doesn't look too bad. It's only kind of getting organized right now. How much will Central Jersey get? Expecting between 8 and 12 inches of snow, then a transition to sleet. Dallas expecting some icing, some mixed precipitation overnight. Also some thunder, actually, some lightning possible within this region. Just generally down in the south because that's how powerful the storms are. They're very electrically charged. Just generally, like there's a lot of lift in the atmosphere. That's how powerful the system's going. Okay, please don't spam chat, guys. It's pretty quiet, so I can get to most questions pretty efficiently. Augusta, Georgia. I think you're right on the edge of possibly seeing some icing in that region. Yeah, I can't help with the app just right now, but after I'm done with this stream, I'll definitely help you out. I saw someone asking about that. Oh yes, we're almost at 30,000 likes, guys. Help us out. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know. The gifting thing is unfortunate per se. I need to do some research and get some contact support because it's been a pretty big problem. Can you not see my comment? I can't see your comment. So, how about Toronto, Canada? I can't check that actually. I think so I'm just gonna extrapolate. I'll put you between like 6 and 10 inches of snow in Toronto. My weather app says 0.75 inches of rain and 0.25 inches of wintry mix. What does that mean? So weather apps are famously bad at explaining these wintry precipits. So they're using just usually one model run and some problems. Raleigh, North Carolina, going to see some extremely high ice totals, 0.5 plus. Okay, please don't spam chat or you get muted. Gotta keep it controlled in here, guys. Keep it controlled. Gracie says hi. What's up, Gracie? Delaware, expecting to see initially snow, possibly 8 to 12 inches of snow initially, and unfortunately transitioning over into ice and sleet. So keep that in mind. If you think you can drive in the snow, it's going to transition over into sleet and ice. Raleigh, I'm not the person who spammed. Yep, I can check that for you right here. It's supposed to be between 0.4 and 0.7 inches of ice in Raleigh. I mean, you're going to see widespread power outages in the region and possible travel tonight into tomorrow. So be ready for that. Charge your devices tonight, guys. Here in Nashville, nothing but maybe a half inch of snow. Really, it's snowing in Nashville. Well, if we switch back over to the radar, this event is just beginning. This is kind of part one, right? This is like a very weak first part, but notice how this is really impressive. So this is the start of the stream. Notice all these gaps. You see the gaps there, gaps there. It's like a little dry air. There's not like a full lift going on. Then we put it in time. Notice how those gaps are now gone. Kind of getting a very impressive snow shield starting to form. This is only going to get more organized, increase snowfall rates, and then eventually it's going to work its way down to our freezing rain shield. I guess let me use a different color there. So and then you're just going to get more consistent precip, and then this is just going to continue on. It's going to start sliding down to the east very slowly, albeit, but still producing that snow, that ice. And if you weren't here about 30 minutes ago when I talked about it, we have a tornado threat for tomorrow. So tomorrow, guys, we have significant snowfall, significant icing, and we also have a tornado threat out for places of even New Orleans, Jackson, Pensacola, Tallahassee, Troy, Doniphan, Albany. So actually what's happening here is the system is so strong that it's going to be pulling up basically an area that is nice and warm and has a bunch of storm fuel, and you could see some isolated supercells. So we could have a tornado on the ground. We could have major power outages we have over 100,000 people without power. I think over 250,000, over a quarter of a million people without power, maybe even more by that time. And we could have people getting plus a foot of snow all at the same time. And that's why this is just a crazy storm. This does not happen very often, in which you get this combination of basically the atmosphere pulling together one of the best shows it can do. As a weather nerd, it's quite amazing to see if it didn't cause so many problems. I'm in the metro Atlanta. Should I prepare for power outages? Yes, you should. I think this is going to be isolated to widespread power outages. I live in Florida. How bad is it going to get? Winter weather impacts. If you live in the northern portions of Florida, you should be weather aware for severe weather. Thoughts on snow totals for Altoona, Pennsylvania. Yes, expecting between 12 to 18 inches of snow in Altoona. Who had a snow-nado. So it's not going to snow down there, just to not spread misinformation. It's going to be too warm. That's why we have actual storm fuel. So we won't be saying a snow-nado, even though that would be crazy. Tallahassee, Florida, you should be prepared for isolated. We're talking about like a handful of tornadoes possible, and check back for tomorrow's forecast as well. I'm going to make an update video on the tornado threat. Just something you should be weather aware about. I don't think you should cancel plans, but you should just be mentally go through your brain. It's been a while since we've had a tornado threat down there. If I get a tornado warning, what do I do? Okay, I go to the lowest level of my house, or like wherever you are. Like kind of keep in mind where things are. Also keep an eye on the forecast, just in case we have an uptrend and then we have a tornado watch. I'll be live during that if we get tornado watch 100%. But it is a complicated forecast. What about Amarillo? Yeah, Amarillo's currently getting some snow, some accumulating snow. Expecting that to linger around at least for the next few hours. Oh, wow, we're really getting some compression issues there. As you know, we really gain the snowfall rates, especially to your south, starting to really increase. So the deeper, the darker the blue is, the more snowfall there is. And I think it's going to linger around at least for your dinner time. Wind inches for St. Louis, 8 to 12. You check Pennsylvania for snow. Yep, here you go. Here's the latest projection. That dark, so that orange is plus 12 inches. I hate that the dots come up, but anyways, plus 12 inches, and the darker yellow is plus 8. Philadelphia going to start off with snow, putting you between like 8 to 12 inches of initially snow, then changing over into sleet, then possibly changing over into ice. Kind of that combination all in one. Can you check Dallas, Texas? Yes, of course. So right now you get some mixed precip going on. Again, I don't surface level. You can tell me, let me know what you're seeing right now. But at least radar-wise, it's saying mixed precipitation. You could see some more icing, some slick spots throughout the evening, and on the back end, between 1 and 2 inches of snow, as this cold air is going to wrap in behind and support some snow for the exit. Could you circle what part of Georgia you see the ice storm in? Actually, I can just show you. So. I haven't shown this yet on the stream, but this is. Oh wait, actually, no, I'd rather do it this way. Okay, so this is really crazy. Then I also wait. I don't want outline. That's more confusing. Let's do filled. Oh boy. So this is the current National Weather Service alerts. Yeah, there is a lot going on here. So what you can see here in the pink, this is our winter storm warnings. The highest level of winter storm alert you can get, you're either getting impactful snow or impactful ice. Now, you're not getting extreme icing. That's going to be in our zones for these areas right here, these dark purples. These are our ice storm warnings. This is where we're expecting power outages and impossible travel. Also, wow, this is a new area added. I didn't see this. They must have added this. We also have ice storm warnings for these areas. I can zoom in a bit here. Places like Knoxville, Charlotte, Chattanooga, Atlanta, Columbia, Greenville, Augusta, all underneath ice storm warnings. Those are areas you can expect power outages to start building, especially into later night hours and into your tomorrow. Moving over into like the south central United States, we have the same thing. We got those ice storm warnings stretching through Shreveport, Tyler, Lufkin, Alexandria, Monroe, Greenville, Jackson, Tupelo, very close to Memphis and Jackson, Tennessee, and stretching up through those regions. And lastly, I didn't even realize this, but Austin, Texas has been added to an ice storm warning. And this goes valid until, I don't think that's 7 p.m. my time, right? That's 7 p.m. Oh, wait, it is valid until I'm doing like math right now to figure it out. Tomorrow afternoon. So there you go. There's like the full kind of report. And I guess another explanation is the winter weather advisory. That's like one step down from a winter storm warning is in the light purple. Then extreme cold warnings in New Orleans, southern Texas, and cold weather advisory in places of Alabama. Okay, back to some more questions. I'm going to keep this map up here for just a little bit longer, so if anyone has any questions about this specifically, I can show them. Massachusetts expecting between 15 and 20 inches of snow. Much snow for Harrisburg, 10 to 15, with potential to switch over to mixing. So one step down from ice storm in North Georgia. North Georgia does have ice storm warning right here, including Atlanta. By the way, Macon, which I know there's a lot of people probably there. You're just outside winter weather advisory. You are in a cold weather advisory. So not only is this storm going to happen, it's also going to basically drive down some very cold air. Someone says, does Texas, please and thank you. Well, you can see the entire state of Texas is underneath at least some sort of winter weather alert. If you are in the pink zone, expect either impactful snow or ice. If you're within the dark purple, expect a major icing event, power outages, and infrastructure damage. And if you're in the dark blue, like coastal-wise, expect dangerous cold temperatures for your region. Atlanta expecting between 0.25 and 0.5 inches of ice. How much in New Jersey really depends on where you are. More north you are, the more likely you're going to be in higher totals. Just generally 8 to 12 inches of snow. Then southern New Jersey expecting a changeover to ice or mix. Columbia, South Carolina, we got a puppy and potty training. This is going to be a nightmare. Unfortunately, indeed, you're currently underneath an ice storm warning. You can see power outages. If you do go outside, please avoid power lines. You want to be very careful. And if you do get significant icing, I would avoid actually walking underneath trees and power lines and stuff that could possibly injure you. It may fall. Okay, so the pink is snow or ice. And then the purple is the really bad icing spots. Got a report that freezing rain has already started in Concord, North Carolina. Oh gosh, here we go. You check southeast Ohio. Yep. And I'm going to switch back over to our live radar. Feel free to ask for me to switch over that anytime. You see how our warnings align with our live radar. And southeast Ohio expecting between 8 to 12 inches of snow. St. Louis snow worse tomorrow? Yes. It's going to be really building overnight. You can see you're already getting to the point where your atmosphere is almost saturated, where you're going to get snowflakes getting down. I would not be on the roads from basically now until basically Monday morning. Maybe like Sunday night, honestly. I think I'll probably pull out by Sunday night. Not really much snow coming in North Carolina, but ice-wise, was expecting between 0.25 and 0.5 inches of ice. Cody, not really good ensemble support for another storm next week. So there's been a lot of people posting because everyone's on edge, especially when we get a big storm. Like, oh, the next one's coming. The next one's coming. There's not a lot of good support model-wise. So please don't be tricked. I'll keep you updated, but right now there's really actually no storm per se that I'm tracking. I'm just keeping an eye on pattern-wise. Please don't spam chat. Pikeville, Kentucky should be prepared for some icing overnight. Looks like it's breaking up. Unproven. Actually, that's wrong. It's actually gathering strength. So this was 6 hours ago. Notice how it's gathered organization. So unfortunately, you're incorrect. Even in the past 2 hours we've been live, it's really gotten itself together. And that's what was forecasted. So I don't really know why people are coming out and saying, oh, it's not going to happen. You literally look at the forecast. The forecast showed this. The model showed this. I'm confused in Texas. Is going to be snow in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We're still expecting icing and mixing accumulations in Texas. Not a large amount of snow. I believe right now it's mixing there. Let me know if you have any ground truth. Keep me an eye. I'm seeing if anyone else. Again, guys, we have the forum open for you to submit any snowfall or videos, cool videos, to be featured on the stream. Thank you for over 30,000 likes. Gonna type the screen if you want to help me battle the TikTok algorithm and help me spread the word, answering questions for hours about our current winter storm. It's really starting to take shape right now. I mean, over just the past 2 hours, really starting to take shape. He doesn't see all the Ohio comments. I see the Ohio comments. Generally across the board, 8 to 12 inches. Southern Ohio, a little bit less due to sleet. Atlanta expecting 0.25 to 0.5 inches of ice. Expect widespread power outages and possible travel tonight into tomorrow. I'm in San Antonio, Texas. Currently no rain, no snow, just cold. You actually just got added to an ice storm warning due to the, you can see it's really starting to organize the west of you. That's going to move into your region. So kind of get ready for that to start building hour after hour here. For Atlanta, 0.25, 0.5 inches. Expect widespread power outages. Hi, I'm from Dallas-Fort Worth. We are getting sleet. Thank you for that report. So there's still warm air overriding that region, so be careful because it might turn from sleet to freezing rain. 8 to 12 across all of Ohio. Tulsa, expecting an additional 5 to 8 inches in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Man-made weather. I don't think so. So 504. I've been just saying this to everyone who's been saying that. Because of course, there's been people saying that. So to give you the prediction of this weather, this system coming, we had to use models that use math, statistics, and current data points to predict what the future weather was going to look like. Look at the radar. It looks pretty similar to what our physical models said. So where does the human kind of change of weather play into that fact? I'd really love to hear that. I'd love to hear that. When is it going to hit South Carolina? Just in the next few hours. Precipitation is going to rapidly increase in western cloud seeding. No. So cloud seeding doesn't really work. And the contrails exist. So it's just so silly. It is so silly. Yeah, you need to read into it because this just doesn't work. And there's no such thing as like widespread stuff. Okay. Will Virginia get bad? Yes. Virginia is going to get, right now is going to get snow, and it's going to transition into ice, expecting between 0.25 and 0.5. Isabel, saying the storm's looking like it's dying out. Well, okay. Yeah, some people have been saying that. So look, Virginia, was that Virginia? Oh, no, that was, okay, yeah. So for Virginia, just generally across the board here, this was 2 hours ago. So notice how we have all these gaps here, right here. That's dry air, right there. And then we switch it in time, those gaps are disappearing. Notice how we're getting a pretty uniform snow shield. This is because our surface low pressure is beginning to strengthen. The more strong the surface low pressure, the more general lift there is in the atmosphere, and the more large scale called synoptic level support there is for ice, rain, and snow. This was pretty well modeled, and it's expected only to increase in coverage throughout this afternoon into the evening. I guess it's getting pretty late into the evening hours. Which areas will be without power? Well, I can definitely tell you where it's coming from. Roxy, the storm's just kind of beginning, actually. So, who's most likely to see power outages? Definitely northern Mississippi is number one. Expecting long-term power outages. Northern and central Louisiana, eastern Texas, and central Texas. Then kind of switching up through central Tennessee. I mean, Nashville's not projected to get 0.5 to 1 inch of ice. That's a lot of ice, especially for a metro area. Lexington, eastern Kentucky, and then across the Carolinas, all the way up into Virginia, West Virginia. Those areas also could see some ice. So anywhere you see red, purple, or deep purple, those are the most likely areas to lose power. In Pennsylvania, I have to go back to Orlando, or you think I will be okay back tonight? Tonight? Yeah, as long as you get out by like midnight tonight. You're not driving, right? You're flying. At least if you're driving, you are in for impossible travel down in the Carolinas. Unless you avoid or you hug the coastline, which would be a pain to drive. What? You're driving from Pennsylvania to Orlando tonight? Oh boy, that is not going to work out very well, boss. Unless you hug the coast. Notice how our ice threat is right through the area you'd go into. I have to drive through North Carolina I-95 in an hour. Oh boy, I would, depending if you're in Western North Carolina, I really would not do that. I drive to my bro's house in Maryville tomorrow. I'm in Knoxville. Probably not tomorrow. No, I mean the icing is really going to start locking in that area. What does the orange mean? That's plus 0.1 inches of ice. Okay, we're going to switch back over to live radar. Appreciate you guys being here. Do you have upstate South Carolina? Do you think upstate South Carolina will lose power? Yes, I'm expecting widespread power outages just because we're expecting between 0.25 and 0.5 inches of ice. How far does this go? Are you able to see New Hampshire tomorrow? Yeah, I can. New Hampshire is mainly a snowfall event. Expecting between kind of widespread 14 to 20 inches of snow in New Hampshire. Central Ohio, 8 to 12, David. 8 to 12. Bowling Green, Kentucky. Oof, icing event coming there. Unfortunately, you've worked your way into an icing problem. Expecting between 0.3 and 0.6 inches of ice. Widespread power outages there expected. Again, guys, tap that screen if you're enjoying the stream. And follow for more rainy day weather updates. We're almost at 100 new followers for this stream, so if you could do me a favor, help out. Of course, you can always come back. We're going to be tracking tornadoes, snow, and ice tomorrow, so come back for that. And then you get those daily updates as well. If you appreciate this kind of interactive stuff, so I really like this platform just generally because instead of being a meteorologist, kind of showing you a video, okay, here's here, I can see what you guys are thinking and interact with you. I really love this platform, so I really appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate the support. The main reason I ask for likes sometimes and follows is because it helps me battle the TikTok algorithm and get more alerts out to more people, because that's kind of the main goal, is to inform, educate, and have some fun here as well. As much fun as you can when you're like getting an inch of ice and losing power. Someone's asking me if I expect ice to get all the way up to Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh's going to stay mainly snow. So that will limit the power outages, luckily, but you're still expected between 8 and 12 inches of snow. So power travel will be very hard. What model? So this is Weatherfront. That is, you can use the QR code below me. Take a screenshot, scan that QR code. It says like Weatherfront app. That's how you get to that one. You can use my premium code there. And then these other ones are websites called National Weather Service Precipitation Portal. Southern Ohio, please, someone screams. I've heard everything. So depending on how far south you are, you're right on that sleet, ice, snow line. So I can tell you two things are going to either happen. Two scenarios, right? You're going to stay snow the entire time. That's going to be between 8 and 12 inches of snow. Pretty simple. Scenario 2, a little bit more problematic, actually. You start to get involved in what's called a warm nose, in which warm air about a mile over your head starts to slide slowly into the region. That's going to melt those snowflakes possibly into sleet, or if worse, into rain. That rain falls through the column. You're still cold at the surface, like 28 degrees at the surface, but rain's falling on the ground. Then you have a major issue. You might have freezing rain. So there's a chance of freezing rain there. But if that's how I have to communicate. 8 to 12 inches of snow if you stay snow the entire time, but keep in mind the chance to transition over into ice or to mix. It's kind of like the battle zone. If you see anywhere like in this yellow area, like the southern yellow area, it's where like we have a battle zone. It's gonna be really close, right? Houston, please! Someone screams loudly. Houston has uptrended ice potential. Expect some isolated power outages and major travel disruption tonight into your tomorrow morning. Also some what's called thunder ice, which you could have lightning and icing at the same time in Houston. Oklahoma, expecting an additional 5 to 8 inches across most of Oklahoma. Appreciate you guys all being here. Again, right now we have 5 people on YouTube. Appreciate you guys being here, and over 170 people on TikTok. I-40 east of Asheville. Ooh, boy. Not good. You're going to be getting a lot of ice. We're talking about widespread power outages. 0.5 to 1 inch of ice. Please don't spam chat, guys. Please don't spam chat. So get ready for that. Michigan, we're not really going to get a lot of snow, 3 to 5 inches. Henderson, North Carolina, get ready. Let's see where we are. Henderson. I remember Henderson. Anderson? Henderson? Can you tell me exactly where that is in North Carolina? If it's coastal, you're not going to get impacted, but if you're interior at all, then yes. Ooh, let's just see if this is going to respond to that. New York City, 8 to 12, then switching over to sleet and then ice. Guess I just got that for 2 people. That's good. I got some people on YouTube who are waking up. Marion, Ohio, 8 to 12. Will be bad for Lancaster, Ohio, 8 to 12. So, I mean, bad is relative. I think travel will be very hard overnight into your tomorrow, probably lingering tomorrow night. So you don't want to be traveling, is what I'm saying. The roads will be pretty poor. But like power outages, I think you're going to avoid most of the power outages, which is nice, right? You don't want that ice. Let's do a refresh on the power outages. Oh, it looks like we're catching up a little bit. We have over 100,000 people still without power. Expecting that number to really rapidly increase as our precipitation shield starts to fill out here. Louisville, Kentucky, right on that border between ice and not, putting me between 8 and 12 inches of snow with a chance of switching over to sleet. It's the eye of the bird shape. What? I've never heard that for Virginia. I think you're gonna get mostly ice there, Jordy. If I think I know where you are. Cincinnati, 8 to 12. How's it going? Milani. You show Kansas? Yeah, here's Kansas. Not really getting involved in the storm. Only the southeast portion. I guess that's where most people live in Kansas. So, Wichita, between 2 and 4 inches of snow. Kansas City, between 3 to 5 inches of snow. I don't know what that means. Okay. Someone said on my Discord they're reporting that it's freezing rain in North Carolina. Anyone else have any other precipitation reports? Let's see. Okay, no one else has submitted any photos. So, oh gosh, where will be the most snow? Great question. The New England area, higher elevations in New York, and up through this region. You can see some of the higher elevations in New York, like Birmingham, plus 18 inches of snow. Snow started an hour ago, and Cincinnati just starting to cover sidewalks. Yeah, I mean, this was pretty early, honestly, compared to what was forecasted. You show you the radar, see what I'm seeing here. I mean, this precipitation shield is really starting to fill in right here. And obviously beginning to, if that's already reaching the ground, I mean, that's a good sign that you're going to really start stacking up some snow here. So that snow is going to happen for at least like 30 hours. So this is just the beginning of possibly one of the biggest snows in a long time for Ohio too. Which states are reporting power outages? Right now, the biggest states are Louisiana and Texas, both at like 50,000 apiece. It's like 28 degrees here, and it's raining. Here it clinks, but it feels like water in Charlotte, North Carolina. What's up? That's freezing rain. Also, if you have a video, if you would like to submit that, either the Discord or the QR code below, that's really valuable information just because we can get that precipitation report out. So if you wouldn't mind taking a video and submitting it, Phil, I would love to give you credit too if anyone else has any like reports, because obviously look, this is where we were a couple hours ago. Look at all this dry air. It's gaps, not like happening over here. Oh, the storm's not going to happen. Oh, we've just moved like 3 hours, and we're really starting to get a mature precipitation shield starting to form. I mean, we got snow falling in Maryland right now and snow falling in New Mexico. That's really the storm. It's only going to increase in coverage. This is only going to start to fill in more and more and more as our surface low pressure, that's right about here, is going to provide some lift for the area. So the storm is starting, as I'm saying. Like the big part of the storm is starting, is what I'm saying. San Diego does not need to be worried about the storm. Athens, Georgia should be worried about widespread power outages. I'm getting freezing temps where it wasn't supposed to even go below 37. Trig, I'm wondering where you are. I can explain that for you if you want. Is my power going to go out in Georgia? If you're north or central Georgia, you have a good chance of losing power, yes. Middle Tennessee, seeing an icing event going to be starting to increase. Now, a big thing I'm seeing on the radar here is notice on our either sleet or icing event indicator, the pink is kind of moving more north, and that's our warm air layer that's above the surface kind of moving this direction. So that's going to change the precipitation. That's where you're going to see the icing start. No, Arkansas is not down with the storm. Notice how Arkansas is kind of a little bit of a gap here, right? What's going on here? Well, what's happening is we've had our first kind of jolt of energy that's going off. That's really not the main event. Our main event is really starting to build in the back end. So that's where you're going to start seeing some snow, some sleet, and some freezing rain all start up again in this region. Y'all are getting played. Okay, this is live radar, so I really don't know how they can be played. Update on Philly. Well, nothing has changed in the past hour. Still expecting between 8 and 12 inches and a transition over into ice or sleet. Oh my gosh. Okay, I don't think I'm like allowed to say like weather terms because I just immediately get banned. So I'm not even, it's not worth it to appeal anymore. Is it going to be bad in Maryland? So it's kind of a mix, right? We're going to go from possibly beyond 8 inches of snow, and you're transitioning to freezing rain or sleet. Freezing rain would not be good. That's going to cause more power outages to tick up in the region. Some vehicles can travel in snow, and obviously you can plow snow out of the way. You cannot plow ice out of the way, so that's not good. We don't want any ice at all. Even a tiny amount of ice can really cause some major issues there. Northern Kentucky. I'm going to be right on the area between icing and snowfall. So notice how right now, like the warm air is pretty far to your south, but it's going to slowly creep up. You could see maximum 8 to 12 inches of snow, and with the chance of seeing caveats of, please don't spam chat, of other mix and freezing rain. Oh, you sent it in the QR code? Okay, perfect. Okay, we just got a report from North Carolina. Oh, yes, beautiful. I think it's this one. So let me just take a quick peek at it first. I can hear it. Oh. Person's like showing their. Okay, so perfect. Okay, we there. We're getting a report from where was this in North Carolina again? I do forget. I'm sorry. One second. I'm gonna show it here in a second. Okay, cool. Oh, is everyone ready for this? So this is North Carolina. You can also get featured. This is I'm pinning the person who just sent this in. Thank you so much for sending it in. And here you go. Here's your report. So it's a little dark, but listen to it. I'll let you listen. See how good they're at narrating. Not to put the pressure on. Is it snowing in Tallahassee? No, it's not. Yeah, you can hear that. That's correct. That little pinging. So it sounds like it's probably a mix in rain, which is freezing rain and some ice pellets. So that means some of the precipitation is frozen enough, but there is a good chunk of it falling as rain. And if we look at the temperature, I believe in North Carolina here, I can just show you observational temperature. It's 26 degrees and raining right now in Charlotte, North Carolina, and you can see the problem, right? That is a major problem. And notice how our cold air. So right now it's 40 degrees in Atlanta. Okay, that's fine. Like you're not gonna get ice. This cold air is slowly sinking more and more into the region, and this is gonna be the start of a lot of people receiving some bad amount of ice as well. Okay, thank you for that report. Really appreciate it. Stay safe out there. It's going to be the start of a pretty long event here. So charge those devices. Get ready. On the border of North Carolina, South Carolina, and East Spartanburg, our town is under a curfew. That's kind of crazy. But again, you have very high-end icing potential, so not too surprising there. How's Houston looking? Underneath, what did Houston get issued? I think underneath a winter storm warning. Could see some icing down there as well. Roanoke mentioned. Roanoke, Virginia. Yes, Roanoke is going to see first snow, but then possibly a major icing event now. We've uptrended in ice potential, plus 0.5 inches of ice. 9 degrees in Norman, Oklahoma with snow on the ground. Yeah, you're going to get a 5 to 8 more inches of snow on top of that, JJ. Guys, we are only 10 more followers away from 100 new followers to stream. Come join the Rainy Day Weather family for updates and live broadcasts like this all the time. What's good, Unc? Missed you. How's it going, Dora? That's kind of funny. Oh, thank you guys for the follows. We're getting close. We're getting close to that 100 mark. Okay, I'm going to take a quick step aside to refill my water, and then we'll be right back. Okay, we'll be right back. A little bit of a question for everyone to entertain everyone while I'm here. I'm gonna put Dora in charge. They just came into the stream, so Dora, make sure the stream doesn't burn down. And the question of my time refilling my water here is, what is your favorite time of the day? Be right back. All right, I'm back. Thank you guys for sticking around. And oh, this is behind. No, you can see on the most recent update. There's the radar. How much ice in the Houston area? Expecting an additional 0.25 inches of ice. How much inches of snow are you expecting in New York City? So New York City is a tricky spot to forecast. Expecting between 8 and 12 inches of snow first, and possibly transition into ice or sleet. So that could really eat away at like the high end. I don't think like 18 is achievable anymore due to that changeover. However, actually, impact wise, we could have more impacts due to the ice because that would start to cause more power outages. So keep that in mind for your forecast. Is Pittsburgh cooked? Yes, 8 to 12 inches of snow. Biggest snowstorm in 10 years. North central Pennsylvania expecting between 12 and 18 inches of snow. Pittsburgh, 8 to 12. Shout out to all my Pittsburgh friends, fellows, followers out there. My PA followers, hometown. Nurse Alex, I usually only mute people who spam, so I do apologize. It's just the only way to make the stream not like a chaos ring is to calm down people by, I do apologize if I mute you, but the only reason I mute is because of spamming. I make it fair for everyone because I don't want to make it unfair. I want to make it nice and fair for everyone because of course everyone wants their questions asked. 8 to 12 while I'm playing 2K all week. Honestly, it's fair, Ricky. Enjoy it. Make sure you get out and enjoy that snow. That's some record-breaking snow there for at least it's significant snow. Southeast PA, tricky spot. I think you're gonna start off with snow, 8 to 12 snow inches first, and then a transition to sleet or freezing rain is possible. We know the rain coming to Nashville will wash out the ice and snow pretty soon here. Notice how we're having warm air. You can't really see it because it's like a mile up in the atmosphere, but there's warm air conveyor belt. Moving some warm air in position above you. That will start making precipitation fall as ice, but your surface level will be down as well. It will be down to like below freezing, so you'll freezing rain. Expecting some power outages in that area, so make sure you charge your devices in Nashville. Knoxville, Tennessee, similar situation going on, maybe a little bit less due to your elevation, but yes, you can see some icing there as well. I'm asking, will it wash it out? I don't know about washing out. I think it will like make it an ice cube, like a glacier. Instead of like stepping on the snow, it will be like stepping on like ice. So like the actual snow will like compact and then it'll turn into like an ice cube almost. So kind of insane. Okay, thank you. Of course, Sassy. So you're gonna be power out in Pittsburgh. So because Pittsburgh, I believe, is going to avoid the freezing rain, that means good news for power outages. I think there's gonna be isolated power outages due to a lot of snowfall, but there's not going to be a huge amount, which is good news. But it's still going to be basically impossible travel tomorrow because 8 to 12 inches of snow. I wasn't sure since temperatures will be 33 for 35 for several hours. It's really close, Sassy. It's really close. The surface level, of course, isolated changes. Atlanta, Georgia, underneath an ice storm warning right now. Ice storm warning. Except widespread power outages. You should be charging your devices. That freezing rain will be starting really soon, next 3 to 5 hours. You think it'll be higher on the lower end, on 10 to 15 of snow near. I think it'll be on the lower end. The main reason is I'm saying that is because a transition over into sleet is possible there. And that would obviously eat away at the total snow. Ben is asking who's going to get the most snow. Higher elevations in New York could see plus 18 inches of snow. So higher elevations in New York and Vermont, New Hampshire. Those are the areas I think are going to get the most snow. Okay, please don't spam chat, guys. Please don't spam. Michigan really not going to get a lot of snow. You can see Southern Michigan 3 to 5. Detroit, 4 to 6. Bowling Green, Kentucky. Unfortunately, Bowling Green, I'm leaning more towards an icing event there. Taking a look at probabilistic icing. Right now, the National Weather Service has you between 0.3 and 0.6 inches of ice. So I'd be prepared to lose power there as well. Will be in Toronto, yeah, expecting between, what did I say earlier, like 7 and 10 inches of snow in Toronto. Will it sleet in Charlotte? I think it was sleet for a little bit, but then it is going to transition into icing, unfortunately. Mentor, Ohio, 8 to 12 inches of snow. I'm more near that purple you showed. Oh yeah, the purple is bad, 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 bad. That is significant icing. That is going to cause power outages for possibly days. Northeast Alabama, pretty quiet. I think you might avoid most winter impacts. Might have some slick spots, but I mean, looking right now, it looks like it's going to be warm enough where you can avoid the winter weather impacts, which would be really nice. Guys, we are 3 followers away from 100 new Rainy Day Weather family members. Join the Rainy Day Weather family. Hit that follow button, please. Thank you so much for the support. Athens, Georgia, expect power outages there. It's going to be between 0.4 and 0.6 inches of ice. And thank you guys. Thank you for the handful of people who just followed. We just crushed and went over 100 new followers. Appreciate that. We're getting really close to 70,000. It's insane. It has been an insane week. I think I've spent about 50 to 60 hours on Rainy Day Weather, streaming, making content, giving updates. Of course, this is exactly what I love to do, but it is a little exhausting. So that support really helps me out, helps me keep going. Got just a couple more days of this event, and then I can take a long, I guess, like couple day break. I'm really scared for the DC area. I mean, it's a tricky spot, right? We're going to get a lot of snow. Then we're going to transition into possibly freezing rain there, in which obviously is going to cause some power outages and basically impossible travel. How's Sanford, North Carolina looking? Sanford. Oh, I picked it out right there. So it's in between 0.25 and 0.5 inches of ice. So power outages could be happening there. I'm assuming you have no crops as a farmer because, you know, it's winter, right? I assume you have no crops out. If there was any vegetation that's alive, it's going to have a major problem with the ice. Power outages, trees down, branches down, lots of problems. Oh, yeah, chickens outside. Yeah, I mean, they might be bothered by the ice, so keep that in mind. They might be slipping all over the place as well. Northeast PA expecting between 10 and 15 inches of snow. Steph, thank you for the kind words. Dallas expecting an additional 0.1 to 0.2 inches of ice, maybe some snow on the back end here, up to 1 inch of snow. I'll switch over back to our live radar. Let's look at the latest update. Okay, I see our snow is stretching pretty far now. Our snow shield. Philadelphia, 8 to 12 inches of snow, then transitioning into sleet and transitioning into freezing rain. Can you touch on Asheville, North Carolina? Yes, you're going to be seeing some major icing there, 0.25 to 0.5 inches of ice. What are all the white dots? Oh, those are like probabilistic, so I unfortunately can't turn them off, but if I click on them, it shows like the odds of seeing like an amount of ice. They really don't mean anything. They're just so you can click on them. Unfortunately, I can't get rid of them, so they're a little annoying, right? Boston, Massachusetts. Expecting between 12 to 18 inches of snow. Central Arkansas. Oh gosh. Well, this precip is about to pick up. We go over here. You can see some heavy snow and some possibly heavy sleet or freezing rain is moving into the area in Little Rock just in the next few hours. So I would not go on those roads here soon. Good question. Why are there small purple areas? So those are like localized icing events due to elevation differences. San Antonio actually was just added to the ice storm warning list. So you should be ready for ice, pretty significant icing in the region here overnight tonight. See off the road. It's probably going to be lingering into tomorrow. I got a question. So generally, I just got a question for New Jersey and Philadelphia. So we'll do a 2-for-1 here. What's going to happen is you're going to start off as snow. Let me just bring up a future model here. Bring up the RRFS. We'll switch it back to the 18Z. And lastly, so this is just going to be future radar. So I can walk you through what's going to happen. Oops, we're not on the right model. Okay, there we go. So starting off, this is Sunday at 5 a.m. You can see we're starting off as snow. Okay, all that blue is snow. And moving in time, notice how we have our, so this is our, this is ice down here. So this is mix, and then this is ice right here, right in there. So what's going to happen is there is going to be warm air above your head. There's really cold air at the surface. So think cold air is locked in at the surface. Pretty certain it's not going to get above freezing basically during the entire event, but there's what's called overrunning happen. So you go 1 mile up, there's like 40-degree weather, and what that does is it melts your snowflakes when they fall down through the column. So instead of being snow when they get to you, they're going to be rain, except it's going to be like 28 degrees at the surface. So what's going to happen? It's going to fall, and then it's going to freeze on contact, causing freezing rain. So you're going to get, up to 8 to 12 inches of snow first, because you're going to get a good snow for at least a few, handful of hours. But then you have this overrunning, which, don't take the exact mile for mile model, because it's extremely hard to predict overrunning exactly. But then you're going to have overrunning freezing rains starting in Washington, Baltimore, then Philadelphia, then eventually New York City. These are the things that could eat away at snow totals, at least the higher end snow totals, and then eventually exit through the region. But notice how we never get into rain in the region. It stays cold enough at the surface in which we have freezing rain or snow. And that's kind of the full thing. I question how much ice is Pittsburgh going to get. Well, notice we look at the future radar for Pittsburgh. Does not get into the icing zone at all. I'm pretty confident in it staying away from the icing zone. Maybe South Pennsylvania, Southwest Pennsylvania, like in Morgantown, West Virginia. That's an area that could work its way into the ice and sleet range, but I don't fully think it's going to get up to Pittsburgh. Clemson, South Carolina. Where are we, Clemson? I don't see you. Are you interior, or if you're interior North or South Carolina, then going to be having some icing problems. Pittsburgh fluffy snow, yes, it's very efficient snowfall rates. We're talking about a 1 to 19 ratio, so 1 inch of snow. I can actually show you 1 inch of snow to, 1 inch of rain to 19 inches of snow. Oh wait, no, I would do not want. I would press the wrong one. Well, I can show you. That's kind of interesting. That's like the snow level. Oh yeah, here we go. Keep clicking off it. So this is very interesting. This is the one I'm showing you right now. Is called DESI. This is an experimental. Wow, these are really crazy. So this shows you what, and for the actual website, it's Dynamics Ensemble Based Scenarios for IDSS, which if that's really complicated to look up DESI, National Weather Service. DM me if you want that exact link. So for this, look at this. We have 1 inch of rain to 20 inches of snow, which if you didn't know, like the way snowstorms work and just general complexities is if you have like lift at the right time, you have cold air at the right places, you can have very efficient snowflake and snowfall making when the snowflakes fall. So that's why across all like northern Indiana, northern Illinois, all of Ohio, Virginia, and all the way up to the northeast, we have areas of seeing a 20 to 1 ratio, and that's why we have very efficient snowfall. It's also why you can't use 10 to 1 on most models. So most models use a 10 to 1, which averages it out and severely underpredicts the snow. Utah not really going to get involved in the snowstorm anymore. Southern Michigan might see up to 5 inches isolated, put 3 to 5. Places like Detroit, Kalamazoo, Ann Arbor. St. Louis, 8 to 12. Odessa, Texas, up to 1 inch of snow and possibly up to another glaze, up to a 0.1 inch of ice. A lot of fluffy snow. In Pittsburgh, you're saying. Yes, Edward, exactly correct. The biggest snowstorm in 10 years for Pittsburgh. Columbus, 8 to 12. Atlanta, 0.25 to 0.5 inches of ice. Widespread power outages expected. Indianapolis specifically, 7 to 11 inches of snow. Richmond, Virginia. Let's see how far south you are. Oh my gosh, where's Richmond? You can tell I'm getting into the 3-hour streamer brain because I'm losing my sense of direction. Oh yeah, here's Richmond. Get ready for some icing. Unfortunately, you're going to be in 0.25 to 0.5 inches of ice. Expect widespread power outages. What does fluffy snow mean? It just means it stacks very efficiently, so you get high snowfall rates. I did believe the latest RRFS had a snowfall rate of 4 inches per hour, which if you don't know is like bonkers. 4 inches per hour. That's crazy snowfall rates. Amarillo could see an additional, 3 to 5 inches on top of what's already fallen. Houston, Texas could see some icing. You've been uptrending a little bit for icing on the back end of this storm, so be prepared for that as cold air sinks to the south. Jackson, Mississippi. Oh man, look at this. An area that's very close. Notice the tight gradient. If you get into the icing, if the cold air gets enough to you, then you could see some major issues. But there is a chance in which you miss all of the icing. So it's either going to be kind of an all or nothing deal. If it gets cold enough at the surface, expect some travel issues. If you do try to go outside, I'd be careful on elevated surfaces for freezing. Pittsburgh, 8 to 12 inches of snow. Going to start snowing here pretty soon, actually, within the next 3 hours. I think at least light snow, ending around your Monday late morning. So going to be power outages in Houston, isolated power outages possible. Fort Mill, South Carolina, could see some significant icing. Power outages expected. Massachusetts, 15 to 20 inches of snow. And Nassau, hopefully I'm definitely not saying right. Nassau, Long Island. So it's going to be a complicated forecast here. 8 to 12 inches of snow, and then switching over to sleet or some freezing rain. Is school going to be canceled on Monday in Pittsburgh? I think it's definitely possible. Yes, Ben. I think it's possible. At least a 2-hour delay. Okay, thank you. I'll be ready for that just in case. Cool. Philadelphia, 8 to 12 inches of snow, but then a transition over into ice or sleet. So be prepared for that. That's why you have this like kind of cut here. You see this cut? That's where you could have some warm air intrude above. You check Central Jersey, 8 to 12, and switching over to sleet. Toronto, it seems like we got a lot of people from Toronto today. Expecting between 7 and 10 inches of snow here. Upstate New York. Wow, Binghamton. Yes, Binghamton is going to be a lot of snow here. And where exactly your location, projecting between 14 and 18 inches of snow. Lower right, Ohio, you're close to that ice snow line. Could see between, I put you like 6 to 10 inches of snow there, with a chance of seeing freezing rain. Detroit, Michigan, 3 to 5. Northern Delaware, so originally snow. Put you between 6 and 10 inches of snow, and then transitioning into sleet or freezing rain. West Tennessee going to see extremely high impact freezing rain. Jackson, Memphis, all these areas could see power outages really start to build. Just for reference here, we have 140,000 people without power. Is that more than we have right now? Okay, so we're actually right on the money here. A little bit of an update. Go over this really quick here. The big thing to take note is the actual like highest icing event hasn't even like begun yet. This is crazy. So this is like from 0.25 maximum icing. We can even go state by state here, in which you take note of where our icing event's happening. The warmer counties are more out. In some of these counties, this county, Shelby County, 35% out right now. That is a lot of people out of power. So keep that in mind. These areas that have seeing icing, it does really start to ramp up their impacts. Louisiana, can you see where it's icing? Look at that. This county is 50% out of power, and this one's 53%. So across this area, that is where the icing is. I mean, it's pretty easy to spot, right? Where are we seeing icing? There. Okay, we just got a submitted report from Allentown, Pennsylvania. Let me take a look at this real quick. I don't really know what this is supposed to show. I think outside. Let me see. There's a no snow. Oh, someone's just sent an image outside saying no snow yet, but can you tell how much is coming? Allentown is between 8 and 12 inches of snow. Okay, cool. Also, if you guys didn't know, we have an open forum directly below me in which you can submit your photos, your videos that you take throughout this event to be featured. Let me just get a word on who that was. Okay, that was, thank you, Rabbit, for the submission. Appreciate that. Pembroke, North Carolina should be preparing for major icing. Dallas should be preparing for at least a little bit more ice on top of what's already fallen. An additional possibly a inch of snow on the back end. What does the purple mean in Georgia? assuming in this one, that is significant icing, plus 0.75 inches of icing for Gainesville. There's going to be widespread power outages there. Pembroke. Can you give me a little bit more specific location where that is, Jules? Yeah, I'm cooked. Oh, gosh. What's tomorrow look like for Kentucky, Tennessee? I'm going to still see some lingering icing. The storm's going to really hit hard overnight. Just want to show you guys the live radar as we continue to watch this storm. I mean, look at this. It's really just in the past couple of hours. So this was 4 hours ago. So notice there's like no snow here. There's gaps between all of this. There's gaps here. There's gaps here. There's gaps here. Notice what happens. We've become a uniform snow shield. The storm is intensifying. It's gathering organization, and then we got snow kind of in this corridor, and we either have icing or mix kind of all within this corridor right here. Please don't spam chat as well. Guys, we're almost at 35,000 likes. Come join the Rainy Day Weather family. Let's see here. Oh, we are 9 followers away from hitting a round number. So let's see if we can get there. Really appreciate you guys joining and following. Slightly to the right of the thinnest part, Maryland. So you're going to start off as snow, 8 to 12 inches of snow initially. And then you're going to transition into icing, unfortunately, on the later end of the actual storm. That looks suspect. Oh, that's quite unfortunate. I think we're just, I was going to, okay, there we go. Just going to get rid of that. North Carolina, both Durham and Waynesville expecting some icing there. Clarksville, Tennessee, another area where we're going to see icing. Should be getting prepared in all those areas I just said for power lossage. What does the pink mean? That's either ice or mix. Yeah, I didn't even mean to do that, I swear. What time is the ice going to hit in Gainesville, Georgia? Pretty soon here. So there's cold air. Oh my gosh. So right now there's not really an area in Georgia that could see ice. Man, Gainesville is like the area that's going to see the worst ice, up to an inch of ice. But right now there's cold air basically sliding down towards the state at the surface level, in which it will still rain because it's going to be warm in the higher levels. But then you're going to have probably like sub 30 degree temperatures across the area just circled. You have an ice storm warning. Charge your devices right now. You probably don't have much time until you get icing, and then after more icing, you're going to lose power. When will it start in New Jersey? Later tonight. So probably next 3 hours. Can you tell me about Lynchburg, Tennessee, please? Yes, let me see. Is that west, east, or central? Lynchburg. I swear I've seen that before. Do apologize, guys. I'm starting to slightly run out of steam here. So, it's been a grind, to say not say the least here. Yeah, please don't spam chat, guys. If you spam chat, I'll have to mute you. Trying to keep it easy for everyone. Fair. Nashville, I'm expecting power outages, yes. Lynchburg is southern middle. Oh, yes. Okay, yeah. Looking at the ice forecast here, I'd be weather aware for at least some slight to moderate icing, some maybe isolated power outages as well. Newcastle, PA, expecting 8 to 12 inches of snow. Minnesota's not going to get involved at all in this event. It's just going to be cold there. North Carolina is going to get icing, very bad icing, especially in central, even on eastern North Carolina right here. But worse is going to be in the western portions of the state. Is North Carolina going to be without power? Yes. And look at this, a lot of ice. Unfortunately, that cold air damming is going to get some major icing. No snow in North Carolina. Maybe some snow tonight, like a little bit, but it's going to rapidly transition into sleet and then ice. Indianapolis is expecting between 7 and 10. 7 and 10. So two people ask at the same time. Tuscaloosa. Looks like you're actually not going to be involved at all in this winter storm. Maybe some slick spots, but right now, going to be too warm. Too warm. Detroit, 3 to 5 inches of snow. Northern Ohio, 8 to 12. I don't know who's. Some of these comments are making me. Some of these comments make me laugh. When do you think it'll start in near Bowling Green? I mean, well, look at the live radar. You're basically surrounded right now in Bowling Green, so you're right here, and yeah, like it's gonna start really soon, just generally because the precipitation shield's getting some organization, starting to come together. Eastern Kansas, maximum like 3 to 5 if you're talking about Kansas City. Tulsa, an additional 5 to 8. Chicago, 3 to 5. Denton, Texas, icing and be up to an inch of snow. How much is Mississippi going to get? Snow? Nah, not really any. However, if you're in northern Mississippi, a major icing event. Should be ready to lose power there very soon, if not already. You can see up to an inch in these dark purple areas and purple areas. I mean, that's just a lot of power. Southwest Ohio, so it's between 8 and 12. Southern New Hampshire, 10 to 15. Southwest, I think it's just Southwest Ohio, yeah. Eastville, Kentucky. Can I get a more detailed on where that is? West, south, Eastville. They don't see it on mine. New York City, 8 to 12 inches of snow first, then a transition over into sleet and possibly freezing rain on the backside. Washington County, Pennsylvania, 8 to 12 inches of snow. Enjoy it. Biggest one in 10 years. North Georgia, catastrophic icing, unfortunately, really shaping up to be the area. If you're in Gainesville or Athens, that's going to be the worst case, and Atlanta is going to see some isolated to widespread power outages. Clarksville, Tennessee. Where are we? Clarksville, Tennessee. Oh, I was like, I said the wrong state. Where is Clarksville? Why am I like... Forget. Oh, it's right here. Okay, so yes, we're expecting icing 0.25 to 0.5 inches of ice. Okay, we got a submission. Another submission? Or did you just post it? Okay, we have the QR code for submission for content if you want to be featured. Let me go back here. I'm just keeping an eye on all the power outages. Yeah, still at 140,000 power outages. Pretty crazy, right? I'm back. Chattanooga, Tennessee. Welcome back, Lauren. I mean, Chattanooga, let's see here. Yeah, you're right in that area where we're going to get some slight to moderate icing. Expect some isolated power outages, some down power lines, and some tree damage. Very difficult travel conditions. That's going to be starting relatively soon here, if not already. I'm curious if you're getting any precipitation at the ground there yet, and what form it is. Is California getting snow? Not associated with this system. Philadelphia, PA. Philadelphia, PA is going to start off with 8 to 12 inches of snow, then unfortunately transition into a sleeting/icing event. Barely and a little icy. Yeah, the precipitation rate is going to rapidly increase. Currently getting sleet in Lancaster, Ohio. Thank you for the report. Wow, you're getting sleet in Lancaster, Ohio? That is really surprising because this is really far north. Wow, you're getting sleet that far north. That's kind of insane. That's interesting. That report doesn't really line up with my current understanding of the system, but thank you, Lauren, for the kind words. Appreciate that. Yeah, unfortunately, like, I'm not like, well, number one, my walls are thin, so I'm not trying to be like loud and too crazy. And then number two, I've been tracking the storm for about 60 hours this week, 50 to 60 hours, making content. So it's taking a slight toll. We're almost through it, guys. Then I can rest. That's the life of a meteorologist, though. All meteorologists in the country right now are in the same boat, sleep deprived. And don't worry, I'm getting my 8 hours, but it's just my schedule has been vastly shifted. You think it's possible for 12 inches of snow in central Indiana? Yeah, I definitely think it's possible in Indiana. Like Indianapolis is kind of like the furthest north, or like the northeast corner of Indiana. Maybe an isolated area. I'd say more of a guaranteed +8. So if you guys have been enjoying my commitment, enjoying the Q&A, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like, let's see if we can get 40,000 likes and leaving a follow, guys. Again, help me battle the TikTok algorithm. What time is it in Madrid? It is currently 2 a.m. So if you guys didn't know, if I'm studying abroad in Madrid right now as a student meteorologist, studying abroad in Madrid. Of course, the time I go abroad is the largest snowstorm in like my hometown in the past 10 years because why not? So the past 5 nights, I've gone to bed at 3 a.m., 4:30 a.m., 4 a.m., 2 a.m., and now we're at 2 a.m. again. So, and I think I'm sleeping for at least a little bit longer. So if you guys have been enjoying the commitment, leave a follow for that. I kind of figured this would happen, but I've basically reversed engineered my jet lag, and I'm back on Eastern Standard Time, at least kind of. I'm still pretty tired, and so it's 8 o'clock there, so don't worry, I'm making it work. Staying hydrated, that's very important. I live in Raymond, Maine, and it's saying 19 inches. Jeremiah, that's 100% in the cards. I'll put you between 15 and 20. Okay, back onto the grind. Charleston, Indiana. Oh gosh, where's Charleston, Indiana? It's a place I've never heard of before. Is it south, central, or north Indiana? If you like have a town that I might not know, putting like a cardinal direction on the state might also help me out. Asheville, North Carolina, expecting major icing event there. You should be ready for power outages coming very soon, between 0.25 and 0.5 inches of ice. Southern Indiana, oh gosh, yes, expecting between 10 and 15 inches or so. It's possible for Lithia, Georgia to get power outages or snow. You're also going to have to help me out with the cardinal direction on that one. If you're in northern or central northern or central Georgia, you are very likely to see power outages due to a uptrend in ice potential. I mean, Gainesville right now is projected to see 0.8 inches of ice. That's into our catastrophic zone of ice where we're talking about widespread power outages for possibly days. Pennsylvania is expected to get generally a lot of snow. Eastern and southeastern corner of Pennsylvania is more likely to see an icing threat. All clear in Pennsylvania, or at least Pittsburgh. So right now, the snow is starting to move into your region. We have already had snow reports in Columbus and Dayton. This precipitation shield is really going to start growing here. Really going to start picking up like around midnight, and then it's just going to start dumping down. What if it clears up and warms up by tomorrow? I've never seen someone like put tomorrow as that before. It's not supposed to warm up. There's really cold air behind this storm that is going to wrap in behind. It's going to lock all this ice. All this ice is going to be locked in, and all the snow is going to be sitting here for possibly days or longer, especially up in the Northeast. We're getting a very cold air that locks into this kind of region right here. Fort Wayne. Oh yeah, especially between. That was an area I was keeping an eye on. 6 to 10 inches of snow there. Dallas could see another 0.1 to 0.2 inches of ice, and then a 1 to 2 inches of snow. Central New Jersey is calling for 17 to 20. So I think that's a little high, Nick. The main reason I say that is because right now I'm projecting 8 to 12 inches in central New Jersey, and then a transition over into either sleet or freezing rain, and that will eat into your snow total. So keep that in mind. Freezing rain is now possible in central New Jersey. Thank you for telling me in Fort Wayne, of course. Stay safe out there. Stay warm. Buffalo, New York, expecting between 10 to 15 inches of snow. Valdosta, Georgia, it's the southern middle. Like we aren't getting touched. Oh, well, Peppermint. Okay. I haven't said this in a while. So Peppermint, you aren't getting snowfall impacts. However, did you know there is a tornado risk for this region of Georgia tomorrow? So yeah, you have a tornado risk for tomorrow. So keep that in mind. Like you're avoiding the icing and snow in this area, but you do have a tornado risk. So if you guys didn't know this, yes, there is a tornado risk. Tomorrow we're going to be tracking snow, ice, and tornadoes. All of the above. Probably one of the most crazy storms I've ever tracked. So it is incredible. You have TikTok, haven't seen tomorrow. It's like 2 words. Honestly, I have TikTok, but I honestly don't use TikTok that much, which is kind of ironic when I have over 68,000 followers. So yeah. Okay, well, whatever. This is going off snow to water conversions. So The snow to water conversion actually for the North United States will be around 1 to 19. We have this actually right here. So, and this one even says 1 to 20, 1 to 21. So if you guys didn't know, if rain fell 1 inch to, if it was snow, in Pennsylvania, it'll be like 1 to 20, which is very high. That's why we're going to have very efficient snowfall rates, very high snow totals, if you can stay out of the rain and the sleet. And mostly the sleet and the freezing rain will be the main thing that will eat away at snow totals. Just because you told me what was going to happen in my city, I followed you. Oh, thank you. ... Appreciate that. Welcome to the Rainy Day Weather family. We're in a marginal 2 risk here in Alabama, but it shows sunshine tomorrow. Oh gosh, yeah. Well, sunshine will warm up the surface. If you didn't know, Florida's gonna be 80 degrees tomorrow, and then like Atlanta's gonna be like 28. It's gonna be really crazy. You don't see this type of strong gradient. That gradient is gonna provide a lot of upper level support, a lot of what's called thermal wind. It'll be some possible supercells in the region. So yes, we could actually have a strong tornado tomorrow. We could have a EF2 plus tornado. We could have over a foot of snow, and we could have over an inch of ice all tomorrow. And that is about as crazy as weather gets. And that is with zero exaggeration. That's the crazy thing, is there's zero exaggeration. That all is possible tomorrow. Just insane weather, right? Insane. It's not going to snow in Georgia. Unfortunately, it's going to be mainly ice. Mainly ice, as you can see by our projection here. Power outages in Nashville, very possible, especially with the latest projection, 0.25 to 0.7 inches of ice. It's just a widespread to isolated power outages. Ethan just joined the chat, said nothing else but the two numbers 6 and 7. Thank you for your contribution to the chat, Ethan. Appreciate that. Show New Jersey. Okay, yep. Here's New Jersey. Icing risk down in southern New Jersey, and the overall snow risk. Ethan said, "I won't forget." I won't forget what? Oh boy. Franklin, North Carolina. Let's take a look here. Switching over to ice. Franklin. Where's Franklin? Like, this is like my most favorite part of the stream. It's just like me trying to find a spot. Can you give me a cardinal direction on that one? Sorry. Like western North Carolina. Oh boy. Yeah, I would expect some pretty widespread power outages there. Charge your devices. That is only expected to increase throughout the evening and into tomorrow. The power go out in West Virginia. That's also very possible, especially in these higher, the southern portions of West Virginia is where we're expecting some ice. So for high-end ice events, we actually are refreshing. So let me refresh. I do want to say, look at that. That's actually new. Pittsburgh has really been upped for the highest likelihood. Wow. Well, I did not realize this, but Pittsburgh's been added to like a 16% chance to see over 18 inches of snow. So this is interesting. This is basically showing, okay, what is the worst case scenario for snowfall? By meaning worst case, the highest end. Again, I muted you for spamming. Please don't spam, okay? Please, let's be fair, everyone. So that's kind of insane, but I do want to look at the ice forecast highest amounts. And you can see where, wow, I mean, that's concerning. Like, if, oh my God, that's not good. If Nashville got an inch of ice, that would be very bad. But that is in the reasonable forecast. It's a crazy thing. Okay, we'll go to ice. Cool. Okay, definitely not the high end. I don't want to, like, fear monger here. Yeah, I didn't realize how high the potential was, because usually those high potentials gets narrowed down. You get really close to the storm, but I guess isolated wise, yes. Baytown, Texas. Can you give me a cardinal direction on that? Sorry if I've been skipping over. I'm trying to get as many people as possible. Near Houston. Oh gosh, okay. Baytown. Oh yes, Bay City. It's on a little south. Go over the left a little bit. Like over here. This is great. Well, if you're anywhere on this map, right? I mean, oh, Honestly, do not see you. I'm so sorry. And this is like hiding. Well, anyways, if you're like in within this region, there is going to be some icing going on, plus 0.25 inches of ice. So you should be prepared for some isolated power outages tomorrow. Charges, I guess, like tonight into tomorrow. St. Louis 8 to 12. Charleston, South Carolina, prepare for a large, widespread power outages. Okay, I think I'm starting to lose my mind. So, with that, I think I'm going to institute rainy day weather last call. So what that means is I'm going to do my closing, or I'm going to answer just a few more questions. Then I'm going to do my closing thoughts. And then we're going to do what's called rainy day weather overtime, in which I'm going to shut down the stream. We're going to shut down the stream on TikTok. However, we're going to jump over to YouTube to do overtime. The main reason I do that, YouTube is the same handle. And so the people who really need their question answered can go over to YouTube and get their final question answered. And then also I can like slowly wrap up the stream. So, that's kind of how to do it. So right now, get your last questions in. I'm going to try to get as many as quickly, and then I'm going to go for my final thoughts, kind of key points. And then I'm going to go to rainy day weather overtime on YouTube. So hit that follow button, guys, if you're ready for a rainy day weather last call here. Appreciate you being here. Again, it is almost 3 a.m. for me, so I'm running on fumes, to put it lightly, and I really want to forecast for you guys tomorrow. I want to, stay like alive, so I'm gonna get that 8 hours of sleep in, and I'm gonna come back so we can track the snow, the ice, and the tornado threat for tomorrow. So, last questions. Louisville, Kentucky, expecting between 8 and 12 inches of snow with the chance to transition over into sleet or icing event. Will power go out? Indiana, not expecting Indiana to get significant icing, so not a widespread event. St. Louis, 8 to 12. New York, New Jersey, expecting to be 8 to 12 with the chance to transition over into sleet, then freezing rain. So be careful. Those snow totals might be really dragged down if that happens. I think power will go out in New York City, and it's not going to be a huge amount of icing. I think travel will be very tough in New York City. And New York City is famously bad at being susceptible to snow, so yeah. Arkansas tonight, expecting that icing to start to accumulate, or maybe some mixing going on. You really, really want to hope for mixing, not icing, but icing is possible. Cincinnati, 8 to 12. ... Thank you for the kind words. Thank you so much. A good help. Appreciate that. Yeah, again, I would stream longer, but I could feel it, guys, that I'm getting tired. So I don't want to get myself sick. So my health comes first, kind of. And then I'll be back live tomorrow. So follow for coming back. Last question of the day, Atlanta. Expecting a significant icing event to happen. Atlanta and northeast of Atlanta. Expecting 0.25 to 0.5 inches of ice. Lots of power outages there. Charge your devices because it's going to continue to happen there. Okay, now with that, I'm going to do my rainy day weather last call. So here are my final closing thoughts. Our storm is obviously getting organized over just the past few hours. You can see our snow shield become solid blue, less gaps in between our snow showers. That's pretty much expected. This is going to fill out really rapidly overnight. Then it's going to get well organized. Our icing threat is increasing. What's happening here is we're having warm air beginning to surge to the north, but not at the surface. It's warm air just above the surface, which is going to melt your snowflakes, put it into water form, and it's going to cause severe icing across many of these areas in red and purple. Significant, severe icing. We're talking about power outages probably for prolonged amount of times, especially in these deep red and purple regions. Be prepared for that. There's not much more time to prepare. If you're already in an area with wintry precip, do not go on the roads, guys. Please keep yourself safe. And then snow total wise, the Northeast pretty solid, 8 to 12 inches across the board, with a little bit of a caveat across areas of southern New Jersey and the DMV area. If you switch over, and this is likely, if you switch over into sleet or freezing rain, obviously that's going to eat away at your snow totals. Pound Cake says there's literally nothing happening. It's almost like I literally said the storm is rapidly strengthening, and you can see it on the radar. So it's happening. There's already been numerous crashes and numerous really bad travel conditions, and it's just strengthening right now. So orange, that orange means plus 12 inches. The dark yellow means plus 8 inches. The lighter yellow means plus 6. And okay, said yeah, okay, Unc. Okay, you're getting muted for 5 seconds. You're getting put in the timeout corner. And then kind of switching down here, I was going to kind of show you guys, this is the best guess for the next 72 hours of snowfall. See, all that snow is coming. Pretty confident on that one. Like a little bit of a tricky forecast near the edge of that higher end snowfall. Thunder snow, definitely possible, Krista. Good point. And last thing on my radar, and it might be a surprise to you, it's probably going to get overshadowed, but definitely should not be forgotten about, is a tornado threat. So yes, we do have a tornado threat for this region tomorrow. So it is indeed possible in which we'll have more than an inch of ice fall, more than a foot of ice fall, and possibly a strong tornado tomorrow. That is insane. Okay. With that, we're now going into rainy day weather overtime, guys. Thank you so much for joining the stream here on TikTok. Make sure you follow. And also come over onto the other page. We're live on YT. If you don't know how to get there, there's a couple ways you can get there. Number one, take a screenshot down below. Scan that QR code with your phone. If you take a screenshot, use that photo. That way you can get to the actual link tree. Shows you a YouTube link. You can click there. That's number one. Number two, you can go to my profile, and underneath my profile in my bio, that has the same link tree. You can navigate that way. Lastly, you can look up rainy day weather on YouTube. It should be the first one. Has the same logo, so pretty easy to find as well. So if you desperately have a question that still needs to be answered, also join the Discord as well. Thank you, Christoph, for the shout out. That is also in the QR code, also in the link tree. All those things, submit those photos, submit those videos. But yes, we are going into YouTube overtime just for a few minutes, so we can chat about our last kind of closing thoughts before I go to sleep and get those 8 hours in and go live again tomorrow. With that, please be safe, guys. The start of the storm obviously is not like crazy because it wasn't expected to be crazy. It's about to get crazy. Stay off those roads. Be careful of those down power lines. And look out for each other, okay? Look out for your neighbors, especially if you lose power. The vulnerable, your friends, your family, your neighbors. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night, and see you on YouTube. See you in overtime. Here we go. Also, 5 seconds left before you follow. I give you like 5 second grace period before I close at the stream. We've reached over 15,000 people. It's good. My voice is starting to get tired. That's what happens when you stream for this long. Good night, everyone. I don't know, I know what's going on. I'm streaming later. So what's up, YouTube? How's it going? I'm streaming later than I usually do. So obviously that's having an impact on my stamina. But the tsunami stream was crazy. I streamed for 8 hours straight, talking and giving updates. I don't know how I did that. Hopefully, of course that's possible happening again. But hopefully I don't have to do that. All right, guys. Welcome to YouTube. Rainy day weather overtime. Got a question. First one, Louisville, Kentucky. You're in an area that's right on that ice snow line, and I think it could go either way. Right now, I'm leaning towards all snow. That's you really want to hope for all snow because even a little bit of ice could be problematic. 8 to 12 inches of snow, I think, is pretty likely in Louisville. So let's hope it continues to stay that way. But keep in mind there is a small chance where you switch over to ice or sleet. Is San Antonio getting this sweeter? What? San Antonio was actually just added to ice storm warning because there's been an uptrend in isolated ice storm. Basically a tiny cell that's going to drop a decent amount of ice, over 0.25 inches of ice. Could see some isolated to widespread power outages. A little bit of a surprise there. That's been a late addition to the warning package. So unfortunately it's going to be mostly ice. Maybe a little bit of snow after the ice. So you just had some cold air intrusion at the surface, and then warm air is riding on top of that cold air as well. See, I didn't see if anyone else submitted a response. Okay, good. We only got 5, but it's fine. I'm looking at the power outages because I'm just curious. 142,000, so we're starting to work our way over 140,000. It's really starting to go up in Louisiana. Let's see Mississippi. Mississippi's kind of been in a little bit of a break, but you can really see, where our counties, this is exactly where we're looking at the ice. The power outages are only going to build. All right, YouTube, any other questions, guys? I know there's only a handful of us there, but I just want to make sure I give you guys attention for our last questions. Thank you for coming over here before I close up shop and get some very important sleep. Anyone, I don't know what I was going to ask. Anyone excited for snow or ice? I don't know. You probably shouldn't be excited for ice. Ice is so lame. It's just like, you can't like have fun with ice. How are you going to like you can't make a snowman. Like, what do you do with it as a child when you go ice? You go outside and you slip and you fall and you like break your leg or something. Woo. So fun, right? Oh, Braden's very excited. Okay, that's good. Winter storms are so fun. You can go ice skating. I was just on your TikTok live. That's perfect. Well, you've come to the right place. In the ACC, I don't know what that means. Yeah, if you have any questions, this is like your personalized attention. This is why I do it. TikTok or YouTube at overtime. So people who really want their question answered can hop over to YouTube, and I can give you guys some personalized attention, because obviously it's a lot quieter over here. It's not as crazy as TikTok can be. Ooh, I gotta say, like, this has been a marathon covering this winter storm, because it's been a lot of information. Yeah. How many power outages, like right now or like coming? I can check for right now, but I can generally, I think 25% of the county might lose power due to the area, at least temporarily. Keep in mind, if you lose power, it's gonna be really cold tomorrow too. Very cold. Yeah, I think 25% of the county, I think, is reasonable for that amount of ice. It's not like a huge amount of ice, but it's definitely where you start to get impactful ice on power. Really notice how, okay, so this is the start of the stream. Okay, I'll show you the start of the stream. So this is the start of the stream time. All these gaps. So you have gaps here. I mean, that gap's still kind of there, but you have all these gaps right in these areas here. But then you're going to right now, and these are really getting filled in. Just notice how we really started to fill in the gaps. Wow. Incredible. That's like the biggest sign that the storm is strengthening. That's why I don't know why everyone was like, oh, this is never going to happen. Like, the models literally showed this was going to happen, where you were going to have this first wave over here organized, but like not really do much. But then you're going to have basically the energy phase together, in which all hell breaks loose, and you get this monster, right? So you can see in like 8 hours, it's going to look like this, which honestly, it's kind of underdoing. The RRFS is really underdoing this. I wonder if we have a new model. Oh, we're just 1 hour away from the new model. That's unfortunate. Let's see if I can get a different opinion. It's something that like has caught on a little bit better. Okay, the HER actually has a 0Z running. It also is slightly underdoing the snow over here and here. This is something interesting to look at and watch for trends, is how our model is initiating. Oh, wow, look at that. HER is actually keeping that snow line, ice snow line, a little bit further south than what was projected. That's some good news for Philadelphia and New York if they went snow. Some very good news. Look at that. This is why I'm saying Pittsburgh. I think you're going to get so much snow. It's going to be crazy. Let's see here. We can do model estimated snow. Yeah, I guess my 8 to 12 inches on Pittsburgh might be a little low. Is this only for the United States? Yeah. I mean, I usually just cover United States weather because that has my best background. And man, I should probably use the HER for snow models. Shoot. Whatever. The HERs usually really get warm nose handling, so whatever. It's okay. A little mad at myself. Let's see if we get ice. Total freezing rain. Okay, so the HER overdoes ice because it's a QPF, but if you chop it in like 60%, I mean, this is a lot of ice. I mean, this is going to be a lot of power outages. We wake up tomorrow, it's just going to be possibly close to 500,000 people without power throughout this event. I could see 1 million people losing power just because it's really going to build. I mean, also this is a concerning trend for Nashville, where you have the HER dropping a lot of ice there as well. Okay, guys. Any other questions? This is kind of the last call before I wrap up the YouTube stream too. Thank you for coming over. Again, I like to give you personalized attention, so I'm going to give you like 30 seconds to type out a question. Thank you so much for being here and your support. Hope to see you tomorrow where we have a tornado, a icing, and a snow threat. Just an incredible triple crown threat that you just don't see very often. Perfect. All right, thank you, Brayden. See you tomorrow. Stay safe. And look, this better stay warm. Yeah, you too. I don't know if I should bump up. I really want to stay 8 to 12 on Pittsburgh because I think I know the curse of winter there. Okay, perfect. Not seeing any questions. Thank you, Anthony, for the well wishes. See you tomorrow as well. Good night, everyone. See you next time.